disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. Just, I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Yo.
Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
Let's just kill those fucking men.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. Lobito! Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Well. Oh, welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing podcast broadcasting to you live from the True North. Hey, this is your good friend Mr. BDA, and I sure am glad everybody could be on board for this one, fellas. In this episode, we got a very special one for you. We're gonna continue talking about the Teofimo Lopez, Josh Taylor extravaganza. I think it plays on Saturday from New York, baby. That's where it's at. Josh Taylor, 140-pound champion, despite lacking some of the belts he acquired earlier in 2019, still is the lineal champ. He's the man to beat, and Teofimo Lopez is going to go in there and give it everything he's got to try to take away his titles. We're going to talk about all of that. We're going to take down your predictions. Near the end of the hour, we're going to be taking phone calls. Going to have a lot of fun. But before we do this, fellas, let's get the business out of the way, right? Don't forget, if you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you're certainly welcome to wire them to us via the super chat feature during the show. But it's always better to join the BD membership program. That way you get more bang for your buck. Okay, special emojis, badges, the whole shebang. But the most important thing is that you continue to like, subscribe, spread that BDA gospel. All right, fellas, make sure you do that. I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat: HJ, Super Sardonic, Hard Recoil, Omar E, The Funktopus, Knockout Ned, Terminator, Uncle Burnt Apostrophe, Urban Productions, Larry Liston, The Gucci Berserk, Arcan Inmate, Virtuoso in the house as well, Ricardo Renteria, Zero Cool, Funktopus. Who else is there? J Colt. I see the Quags is in there. Shout out to the Quags. Shout out to Lazotto 13 Gaming. Shout out to him as well. Many more people to come. I'm sure Never Sober's in the house as well. Shout out to Never Sober's. Shadow Combat, Weedy Gonzalez. And like I said, many more people to come. I'm sure, fellas. Thank you for joining us in this fantastic week here of boxing. We also have, for some reason it escaped me. I've been busy these past 2 weeks. Very, very busy. I'm not exaggerating. And I didn't even know that Munguia and Davidyachenko are going to be tangoing as well on Saturday. So hopefully those main events do not overlap. Hopefully we get a nice clean sheet of boxing. But if they overlap and I have to make a choice, I'm going to go ahead and do Josh Taylor versus Lopez. Come on. It's a more significant fight. I see we've got the Guns and Jimmy here. Jimmy, please change your name, because every time I try to invite you now, I gotta look for Popcorn Sutton in the list, and it throws me off for a loop. Popcorn Sutton. What's the matter with you? All right. Well, good to see you.
Oh,
good to have you here, fellas.
I'm on about 200 grams of Adderall and lubed up and ready to go. Let's do this.
Please don't tell me you really are on Adderall.
I'm just kidding. No, dude, I'm not.
I kid. Yeah, the people with Adderall, I can't. You know, I know I talk fast, so we can't have two people that talk too fast. We got Gonzalo too here now. Bucho was kind enough to send me the list of predictions here for the big fight on Saturday. Let's go with that. Let's see what we've got. Why is this out of place here? Hold on a second. All right, so Bucho said Taylor by unanimous decision. Gonzalez said Taylor via split decision. Chief said Taylor rounds 8 to 10. It's going to be a war. He said, Jimmy's empty. What's going on here, Jimmy?
I haven't decided. I haven't decided all the way yet. I wanted to see the weigh-in because the significance of this fight to Lopez. I mean, this is like, career-ending in some way if he doesn't win. I mean, this could just. And what I mean by career-ending, ending is psychologically. I don't think he could come back mentally from another loss, just the way he's handled things. But so I'm thinking that for all intents and purposes, this is the one he really trained, and I still think he's gifted physically. He's got the tools to beat Taylor. Let's see if he puts it together. That's what I'm curious. So I haven't made my prediction yet. That's my point.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let Gonzalo talk some sense into you. Gonzalo, have you changed your pick since the last episode? Anything you wanna recalibrate, rethink?
I did. I'm gonna change it. Yeah, Bucho caught me. What was it for you guys? It was Monday over here. Must have been a Sunday episode. Like he said right off the bat, give me your prediction with 1 week left. So I was like, hey, calm down, man. I haven't even had my coffee. I just barely woken up. He's like, you gotta give me your pick right now. He said. Right.
He was on the warp.
I'm gonna change it to Taylor stoppage in the 9th round.
Whoa. Taylor
I'm gonna say KO.
9th round? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, Taylor 9th round KO.
Whoa, all right. I gotta tell you, man, if Bucho were here and he was putting me on the hot seat right off the bat, I'm gonna go with Taylor as well. I'm not sure if it's gonna be easy or difficult. And I think like most people have been saying, first of all, let's talk about Teofimo Lopez, because he really is an enigma going into this fight, a more complex enigma, dare I say, than Josh Taylor, because I'm not gonna call him lucky. I'm not gonna say he got lucky against Lomachenko, but he was fortunate. He was fortunate that Lomachenko went in there with an injured shoulder. Now, is that Lopez's fault? No. The guy trained. The guy got to that point. He earned that fight by beating Nakatani, beating Comey, and Eddie Stantle, which remains an underrated win for him. But the fact is, it's difficult to understand and gauge how good he is. I mean, the fact that he had to go to war with Kambosos, who's not really that big a puncher, just says it all right there. So, I don't know. Is Taylor's more aggressive style going to play into Lopez's strengths? Or is he going to get the crap beat out of him? Answer me this, guys. You tell me this. I was rewatching the Campa fight. Pedro Campa, which was Teofimo Lopez's comeback win. And of course, you got to say Campa was tailor-made for him. He's a guy that comes forward. Teofimo Lopez is a counter-puncher with quick hands, and he can still crack at 140. So he looked relatively good in there. But he also ate a lot of body shots. He had to eat some shots to the body to land his counter right. And it's really just one punch at a time from him. If he lets Josh Taylor do that to him, is Josh Taylor with his heavy artillery going to wear him down? What do you guys think?
I think so. And we're going to notice early if Teo's pop carries enough against Taylor. Because, it carried against Campa. But if it carried... In other words, if it hurts Taylor, because if it doesn't, Taylor's going to be able to operate comfortably. When Taylor comes forward, he pretty much he can walk you down throwing punches with both hands at a calculated pace. In other words, he doesn't get too carried away. He can keep throwing. And all the while his feet are under him, he can walk forward, he can take a step back and whatnot. With Teofimo, it's like he's leaping in. It's more of a it's a longer window when he throws a straight punch, like that overhand right that he throws, and it's a wider window when he throws a hook. So there's more room for mistake right there. When the other guy's walking you down and he can put the punches together and can string the combos together, like pop with the feet under him, like little short shots, he can fucking clip you within those wider windows when you're jumping in or fucking throwing hooks. And I think there's more room for Teo to make mistakes when the other guy's being more calculated. And I see him getting caught in between his leaping dashes. In other words,
clarify that for me. When you say there's more room for mistakes, you mean he's got more room to make mistakes? Like, in other words, he's got a cushion to make mistakes when the guy's coming to him, or you mean that those mistakes are going to catch up to him?
Well, so it's catch and shoot with him, right?
Right.
So he dashes to the target. He leaps in. Typically, like from what I know, what I was taught in boxing a long time ago, it's not always a great thing to leap in because you could get countered. You could get countered. If you're going to leap in, you got to leap in maybe with your jab hand first, right? And in order to master your opponent's head, then you put together your right hand behind it. I'm left-handed. Okay, but if you're going to leap in with a big shot, especially like if it's the trail hand, you can get caught. You can get clipped coming in. Now, if the other fighter's experience, whether you're leaping in with your trail, with your leader, with your trail, you have the risk of running into a punch regardless, because not only is your momentum coming forward, but he could also be stepping to you and timing you. So when Teofimo's coming in, that's like a wide window from point A to point B as he's dashing forward for that fighter to set a trap for you and catch you coming in. Now, when you're darting in like that, the way he throws, like you said, is one punch at a time. When the other guy, if he makes you miss, for example, or if he's setting that trap for you, and after you're done punching, whether he landed or not, Taylor can walk you down steadily, throwing two hands. Boom, right hand, left hook. And what can Teal do within that wider window now after he's finished punching? Get back into position. That's a wider window, getting your feet back under you. So not only was a wide window, maybe you're lucky and you land the punch. That's what we hope for. Well, that's what he hopes for and his team. Okay, land the shot, put a hurt on Teofimo, on Taylor. But if he doesn't, man, that you can run into a punch, and all the while, like I said, after you're done punching, resetting again. That's what I meant by that, BDA.
That's an important point. You're right, because from Lopez, it's one punch at a time. He tends to dip to his right sometimes. He likes to do the shoulder roll. That one punch at a time thing, and then him looking to reset, he might get caught in those windows like you mentioned, because Taylor, let's not get it twisted. He might have looked like dog shit against Cadwell in the last fight, but he's a world-class boxer in there. He didn't win that Super Series by being mediocre. The guy took on a bunch of animals. For a while there, he was taking on like 3-4 undefeated guys at a clip. This is a world-class fighter. Jimmy, you haven't made a pick yet, but give us the benefit of giving us your breakdown of how you think both guys are going to fight. And the reason why I ask you this is because Josh Taylor, despite being a tall guy, he likes to come forward. He likes to dig in there, go to the body. Teofimo Lopez, like I said, he's a natural counterpuncher who can crack as well. Who do you see wilting if they go to war?
Well, again, I have to start off by saying, because they fight so infrequently, like Taylor especially, we haven't seen him, a year and a half? And the last time we saw him, he looked like, didn't look that good. But he has the better of the two resumes, like you said, by far, has fought overall the best competition. All things, say if they were both in their prime. Oh, I'm sorry, Gonzalo, you going to say something?
No, I was going to clarify the question, but yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, say they're both in their prime, they're both fighting what we've known they can do at their best. Mm-hmm. It's hard pressed not to pick Taylor. Just on he's got the height, he's got the reach, he throws in combinations. Lopez tends to throw one punch at a time. He's looking to knock you out. I would imagine. See, again, I'm assuming that Lopez is going to do the smart thing, like not to try to throw just one punch at a time. Pick his spots. Don't get lazy. But no, because he doesn't have the when I really start to think about it, it's kind of hard to pick against Taylor, because got the old man, especially now that Taylor's not with you said Ben Davis anymore, which I think
poor guy.
He's just terrible, man. But if he goes back to his old style, I see. If he put it this way, if he makes, you'll be able to tell probably within the first couple of rounds just by the look on Lopez's face, just the look in his face going back to the corner. If he at any time in the first few rounds starts looking confused or bewildered, or like you got that look in his face like shit. It's going to be a long night for him. He probably will get stopped because he'll just give up. Because But if he has it all tied on and, he's in one of those nights where he's just flying out there, because of the two, without a doubt, in my opinion, I would say, I shouldn't say without a doubt, I'd say in my opinion, Lopez is the more gifted athlete of the two. They're both tough. They're both tough dudes. They're both fighters. It's a psychological thing, really. What it comes down to is how broken is Lopez, and how much does Taylor still love boxing? Because my thing, man, when I heard him say it was before the Catterall fight, oh, I'm good with fighting once a year. At this point, dude, you got like 14 fucking fights, guy. What are you saying? So it's like, man, I don't know. That just really sat with me wrong, So I don't know. Maybe psychologically, I have a bad point of view on Taylor for that. But yeah, no, Taylor, if he uses the combinations, gets on him, gets him backing up, it could be a very long night for Lopez.
Let me just give a shout out to I Am Your Leader for his contribution with the Super Chat. And of course, he also donated with the Super Chat. Doing so and giving us his prediction, he says Teofimo Lopez by robbery. Now, I want to touch on that later on. Who does the establishment want as a winner here? ESPN and Tom Prank seem to be going for the loudmouth lately. So maybe that could play a factor there. Maybe that gives a little bit of a lifeline to Teofimo Lopez. We'll get to that later. I did want to say this. I was making the rounds, listening to podcasts and reading predictions, reading the forums. It seems that for a lot of people, it's Teofimo Lopez is up against it here. How much of a beating is he going to take is what some people are asking. Then on top of that, I go to Ring Magazine, ringtv.com. They finally published their fight picks where they poll about 20, 25 people. Check this out, fellas. Let me just scroll down to the bottom here. Out of 21 people that they polled, all of them picked Josh Taylor. And for one of the first times in a competitive big fight, I have to agree with Ring TV and their panelists. I mean, I don't know if... Yeah.
But I was going to say, when's the last time they did that?
I can recall.
It was Bivol Canelo.
No, wait a minute. Yeah, but this is different, though.
They all picked Canelo.
Right.
I'm just saying. So they can be wrong. They were all wrong. It was funny. Tom Gray was one of the dudes who just couldn't get over the fact that he was wrong, and he put all kinds of excuses other than the fact that, Bivol was a bigger, and they just never gave him the credit he deserved. I don't think they paid attention to his career. But so, yeah, of course, right across the board. I don't think who's really, not too many people are picking Lopez. But isn't that usually the time when that when somebody will do the Rocky, the long shot guy? And it's not like this kid's a bum, by no means. I think everybody's kind of written this kid off over his psychological damage.
I mean, I think about that. He was close to crying the day before the Kambosos bout, and that was when everything was going his way. When everybody was on him, when he was one of the, I think some people had him top 10 pound for pound. He'd just beaten Lomachenko, the great Lomachenko. The world was his oyster. And he goes into a press conference 1 minute saying he wants to murder somebody, and then the next spewing his guts out about how he feels he's not good enough and how, close to crying. So maybe you're right. Could go both ways. Maybe when everything's going his way, he gets complacent and that's when he gets in trouble. And maybe it's when he was going to the Lomachenko fight where everyone or most everyone was picking against him, and that's when he steps up to the plate. We shall see. We shall see. All I'll say is this. You mentioned that, Jimmy. The X factor here is Josh Taylor. His inactivity. Now, look, Jack Catterall fought about 2 weeks ago. He looked sensational against some Irishman who was 34 but looked like he was 47. I mean, sorry, no offense, but that's how Irish people are. But here's the point. He looked very good. So maybe it's not such a surprise that Josh Taylor looked subpar against Catterall. I'll also say this. From a stylistic standpoint, Catterall has employed that, dare I say, American style. The American slick style, or as I like to coin it, the ass style, which is pot shot clinch. And that's what Catterall was doing to Josh Taylor. Good for him for lining that left hand up. But then afterwards, he wouldn't follow it up with a second punch. He would follow it up with a clinch. And then when he started getting tired, it was more clinching than actual fucking punching. So Teofimo Lopez doesn't really do that. Yes, he'll clinch, but not as much. But the fact remains, Josh Taylor has not fought, look at this, since February 22. February the 26th to be more precise. That's more than a year off. Now, I know nowadays 1 year off is the norm for a lot of these guys, but whether it's 50 years ago or 10 years ago, more than a year layoff, that's not good. So like Jimmy said, that is going to be the X factor going into this fight. Now, I wasn't going to do a film, and I'm not going to do a film analysis per se with this fight, but I was noticing a couple of things here. Watching Teofimo Lopez's fights and Taylor's fight. I want to turn your attention to the screen here, if you shall, everybody. And I was thinking, well, Teofimo Lopez, like I said, he's a counterpuncher. But what happens if Taylor doesn't really go up to him? What if he doesn't give him that many openings? Can Teofimo Lopez create said openings? Check this out. This is how Jose Ramirez, when he had success against Josh Taylor. Okay? Now you notice he's changing angles. Now what I mean by that is, let's rewind it here. Let's go. See here, he's jabbing, taking his time. He's not overcommitting. Right hand. And then he dips, instead of doing the usual right hand, left hook, or left hook to the body, he throws the right, dips to his right, sits down, and digs in with a hurtful shot there to the plexus, forces Taylor to clinch. Again here. Now Taylor's a good inside fighter, and he's being forced to clinch here. Now Ramirez in this one, again, notice how he walks in with confidence, throwing his shots, planting his feet on balance. Now he's instead of going from the right side, he's dipping to his left. Look at that. Throwing combos, short shots, shooting them from the hip. Look at that. Beautiful combos, okay? Now, I'm going to just keep playing this in real time. Look at these combinations. And he's trying to walk a puncher down. And he even did this after taking these type of shots that we're going to see later here. Because Josh Taylor can crack. We all know what happened in the, I believe, the 5th or 6th round. Hold on a second. Here, boom. Look at that. So Taylor can crack. You put pressure on him at your peril. And then on the inside, sneaky there, creating punching power on the inside. Now I'm going to show you Teofimo Lopez against Xandor Martin. Now, keep in mind, Martin is a different fighter than Taylor. He's much more defensively minded. He's got one foot at the door. He just wants to counter with a little slap and then turn, slap, turn. But still, I think it displayed Teofimo Lopez's deficiencies here. Now, compare and contrast the way Ramirez was putting pressure and the way this guy's putting pressure. Can anybody see the difference? I'm going to ask the question to the chat as well. Well, I'll tell you. Let me rewind it. Let's go back to Jose Ramirez here. Notice how Ramirez is putting pressure here. See that? He's got his hands up. He's parrying, blocking. As soon as he parries, he tries to come back with a shot, and he does indeed. Boom, straight right. And then he gets close, but not too close to get clinched. Here, he gets close. Look at that. Right hand immediately follows it with a corkscrew left. He's shooting from the hip, so he's not telegraphing it. Boom. Then a right, changing angles to the right. And then he got smothered. Now, again, let's go back, and then another right uppercut, and then another, and then changes angles there. Look at these combinations. Let's go back to Teofimo Lopez, and you shall see the difference. Look at him. He's putting pressure with his hands down. No guard. So, of course, he's hesitating. See how he's hesitating there? She's like, oh, do I shoot now? Do I shoot now? First of all, here, he's too far off. He's too far away here, too, as well. And overcommitting. This is something that Jimmy pointed out as well. The guy, how he his upper body is always, see that? How it's already going forward in front of the hips. And then he's off balance a little bit, so he has to reset. So you can't fucking put pressure on a guy with your hands down. Subconsciously, you're always going to be hesitant because you don't feel safe. Because you got no guard, no parrying, very little feints. And then notice this weak-ass combo here. So, well, he did a good job there because he's always waiting for the counter, right? So he parries, goes with the right, then look at his elbow, how he's flailing that elbow, so there's not much with that left hand. No combos. I mean, compare that to what Ramirez was doing. And again, I know, what's his name? Martin is more slippery than than Taylor, but Taylor can move too, as we're going to see later on if we have the time to see. And look at this. He's trying to do his Rooster Roy Jones thing. Again, one punch at a time. Look at how wide open he is. Jumping in, hands down. And then again, just one punch.
Yeah,
very little direction. Yes, go ahead.
Those are the windows of opportunity that I see Taylor exploiting. Right. And especially since he said he don't like to fight tall guys, but I see I see it where if he's leaping from too far away, he's going to lose power because I think he does punch hard, but it's got to be at the correct distance. The shorter the burst, the more impactful. The longer it starts losing power, kind of like when you're jumping. It comes to a certain point where you're going to lose the thrust. And since Taylor's tall, when he leaps from too far away because he don't want to be within Taylor's distance, he's going to want to play it safe from the outside. When he leaps in, he's going to lose power and he's going to be a little too wide and that space in between to get caught, whether it's in or exiting out.
You're absolutely right there, Gonzalo. It's all, when you got your quick hands and you can hit hard, it's always easier when the guy's standing right in front of you. You don't got to go look for him. But like I keep saying, it's one thing to know how to fight on the inside. It's another one to know how to get there. Teofimo Lopez, one of his weaknesses is you don't give him an opening, he starts getting hesitant. And he can't put pressure all that well because he fights with his hands down. He fights coming forward with his hands down. Now, I will say this. He is a good natural counterpuncher because he's good at that. So if Josh Taylor gives him openings, boom. Teofimo Lopez can crack with both hands. He's got a good left foot, good right hand. And you can see here.
He's just got to get in kind of on your chest to throw that left hook. And the right hand, he kind of could throw it over the top. But you know what also, PD?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to Teofimo Lopez, I would say everything that I said that, he can get counter because, he leaps in and out. I would also say, he can hurt you and stuff, but he's kind of vulnerable too. He's been dropped before, so it's not like he has an iron chin where he can soak some of that punishment and still keep going harder. Mm-hmm. He's getting fucked up. We saw with Camboso, he was getting cut. I think Jimmy's spoken about that before. He was getting because he got the not the high cheekbones, but over by the eyebrow, that bony part. When he gets hit, he starts getting fucked up in that area, that bony area. So he starts cutting up, and he's been dropped before, so he doesn't have that iron chin as well. So we don't know, when Taylor throws that sneaky uppercut, those punches that caught Ramirez after he's done throwing, if he's gonna all of a sudden get dropped, that could also go against him.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, he's got those Native American cheekbones. He's got those features, and like you said, that can sometimes present a challenge when you're getting hit. So you're right. He could end up marking up. I don't know, but on the flip side to that, Josh Taylor's got that white skin, and that he's been marked up before. You remember how he looked against Progre? He had a hematoma there. On that, which eye was it? I'm going to show you the picture here. Here, right there. Look at that. So he can mark up pretty well. I wonder if that's because he rehydrates so much on fight night and all that water retention maybe plays a part. I forget where I'd heard that can sometimes happen. I will say this, and don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. I had these clips here from another film analysis we've done, and I'm not going to go through them carefully and all that, but it's just to show you that, this against Victor Postol, he's got good upper body movement. What's his name? George Foreman always used to say he hated seeing a tall fighter give up his advantage by getting low. But sometimes that's what you're supposed to do. If you're a tall fighter, you don't want to just stand up all the time and get lined up for an overhand shot. And as you can see here, he's got good footwork. He used to be a Taekwondo fighter too, by the way. So you can tell he's got some of that hybrid martial art footwork there. This is against Baranchik in the WBSS tournament. And you can see that he weaves very well when he wants to. I just get the feeling he's not very good at. The thing about Josh Taylor is he's like a lot of other dudes out there that he can't put two in. He reminds me of Tank Davis. He's good. He's got good offense, good defense when he wants to, but they don't quite put them together at the same time. It's one or the other. And when they do counter, it's like one counter punch at a time. But when Josh Taylor goes on the offensive, he can dig in with some mean intention. But how about that, fellas? Based on the clips we're watching here, do you think that Teofimo Lopez is going to have trouble catching him if Taylor decides to fight this way?
I mean, at least he's responsible. Taylor, he puts his hands up, so he can also catch. He can catch and shoot. He can catch and counter. What Teofimo would like to describe, or he describes himself as being, Taylor can do that. He can catch and punch you back. So he can take the smaller man's. Well, they say he's smaller, but I actually think he's stockier. But he is moving up, so he can take Teofimo's punches and catch it with a sneaky uppercut like he did Ramirez. So it's not a matter whether Teofimo can find them, whether Taylor can take the punch or block and counter back, which I think he can.
Now, does he have? It reminds me. The other day I was watching Independence Day, and the humanity's attacking those big ass UFOs, and they're launching missiles at it, and they go, we're not causing enough damage. That's what always sticks with me with some of these fighters. And that's the same question I applied to Teofimo Lopez. Does he have enough bullets? Because he can crack. I think he can still crack at 140. But does he have enough bullets to cause damage and wear Taylor down? I know it's a highly speculative question, but what do you guys think?
I think he's more of a one-punch knock-you-out type of guy. Like with Comey, he dropped them with one shot. They both went for the kill like in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Teofimo caught him first. With Tagli, I was watching some of his highlights, like his top 5 highlights. He caught some dude with a short left hook, one punch, knock you out, bam, he's out of there. Comey, he rose up and he tried to follow up. He was going like from right to left, kind of squaring up, and the referee stepped in. But like right there, if he can't knock Taylor out with one punch and he tries to go for broke and he squares up like that against Taylor, he's getting knocked out, man. He's getting knocked out with the left uppercut. That's the money punch that I see him getting knocked out by.
Mm-hmm.
So does he have that one punch, especially now that he's moving up to 140? Probably even less. It's not going to be one punch knock you out type of power. So he's obviously got to follow it up, but he's not a guy that strings together the punches like that, leaping in with the one shot at a time. And by the time you get reset, this is what I mentioned by walking you down. When Taylor, he walks forward, he's walking forward, like taking these little steps. And all the while, he's putting the hands together along with the feet. So he can very well walk you down at a steady rhythm, all the while throwing hands. While the other guy leaped in and has got to like reset, and it's just too much going on right there, too much space in between, while the guy is steadily working.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's
what I saw from Taylor too. Like I watched some of his highlights. O'Hara Davis. Who else? Ryan, some dude named Martin, and like many other fights, he can hurt you with either hand, whether it's a left or a right, a left to the body, overhand right, a left hook, a right hand straight right. I mean, a left straight. I mean, he's a left-hander. But in other words, he can hurt you with either hand and with different type of punches. Most of his knockouts come via different type of punches with either hand. So it's something to consider. He's got more ways to win.
You're right, man. I mean, his punching power, I don't want to get hung up too much on the power, but it is a big, big factor. I mean, he stopped O'Hara Davis. He was the first guy to beat and stop, Miguel Tite de Vasquez. Very, very slippery fighter. He dropped Postal. He stopped Ryan Martin. He dropped Baranchik twice. He stunned Prograis. I got the clip right here in case anyone's forgotten. He dropped Jose Ramirez twice, who's used to walking guys down and has confidence in his chin. Dropped his ass twice. The only guy he couldn't really put a dent on was Catterall, but that's because once Catterall started slowing down, he started fucking clinching a lot and didn't give Taylor the chance to work clean. So, I mean, that could be, like I'm saying, that Catterall fight could be a bit of a mirage that's hypnotizing people. May I also point... Yeah.
So PDA, going back to the leaping in, even if you're a fucking tiger out in the wild, you gotta leap from a safe distance where you can really pounce on your opponent, like on your
prey. On
the prey you're trying to eat or something. Like when you leap from real far away, you're gonna lose the power too. And if this dude's tall, like for example Taylor, like if you're Teofimo and you're 5'8", you want to be kind of leaping in from the mid distance. That way you can get as much as you can. Boom, drive that hand through the opponent. But if you're leaping from far away, it's gonna come to a certain point where it's gonna like you're gonna lose the momentum, and by the time you touch down on the target, it's gonna be like a weak pounce. You gotta pounce with power. And like he said, I don't like to face taller guys, so he's not gonna want to be within the range of let's say, for example, I'm gonna pick a punch. Taylor's uppercut. So yeah, I'm gonna fucking dart from the outside. He's gonna lose power, leaping in from the outside, and it's a longer point A to point B that the Taylor can catch him coming because he's gonna see the punching coming from far away, and he tends to wind up a lot. So that can also work against them.
Well, the thing about Teofimo Lopez is he thinks he's Roy Jones Jr. And though he may be gifted physically and have very fast twitch muscles, there was only one Roy Jones. And even he couldn't really break the rules too much. So for Teofimo Lopez to do some of the things we saw him doing, some of the mistakes he did against Martin and do them against Josh Taylor, he's going to have to watch out. And the reason why I mentioned that is the following. Hold on a second. Look at this. This is Taylor fighting one of the rare times fighting a taller guy than him in Postal. Look at this. Like I said, he likes to dip down, change levels. So he makes Postal drop his hands and then catches him with that. Oh, look at that. He made him swivel like a building that's got no foundation. Look at this. Like one of those Mexican comedy movies where the guy gets hit and he's on a plank and he comes back up rigid. Look at that. Surprised he didn't go down. Then he hits him here again. Some hooks here. Catch and shoot like Gonzalo pointed out. And then, hold on, we're going to get to the... See that? He dipped down again. And then again there. Oh, look at that. Same shot he caught Jose Ramirez with. Just a nice pull step back counter. Perhaps his legs are a little bit too wide open, but it doesn't matter for him. That's how he gains that whipping type power. And look at Postal, how he was fucking stumbling. I mean, that hurt him. And then let me just fast forward here. There we go. The coup de grace. Look at this. He wasn't even on the chin. He was on the forehead. Look at this. Again, what I tell you, dipping down, changing levels. Boom, caught him with that left. Now, why am I pointing this out? Because remember, Lopez puts pressure with his hands down. Who did he do that against too? Not just against Xander Martin, the one that cost him everything he'd earned. Of course, I'm talking about... Hold on a second. I'm talking about the Kambosos fight, and I'm trying to find the clip here, so bear with me here if I stall and prevaricate just a tiny little bit. Here we go. Look at this. Hold on a second. It's not up on the screen. Give me 2 seconds. Because again, this motherfucker puts pressure on with his hands down. That's a recipe for disaster. Look at this. So this is against Lopez, right? Look at him. And keep in mind, this is also what Gonzalo's been saying for the past half hour here. That mid-range, he doesn't really know how to judge the distance. Look at that. Hands down, in punching range or near punching range. He leaps in. Kambosos has good hand speed. He was timing him. Look at that. Overhand right. If he does that, if he starts trying to walk Taylor down and Taylor switches levels on him and catches him with an overhand right, could be lights out. That's all I'm saying.
I think the hands down part is like arrogance, trying to show the public, look, I'm really athletic, I'm real talented, and I could get away with these the things that I'm doing here to show that I'm that good. But at the elite level against world caliber opponents that's been undisputed before, that's bigger than you, that can crack, can you really take these little shortcuts to put a show to the people? That's not the way you do it, I think, and it's going to start costing them now.
I mean, listen, Gonzalo, if it's going to cost him against somebody, it's the best 140-pounder in the world. Now, may I also just show you this little clip here, if I may find it? We're talking about... Oh, by the way, yeah, this, I could show you this later on. While somebody else talks, maybe I'll play it just to have something on the screen. He stunned... what's his name? Progry. Progry's got a good chin. I don't think he's ever hit the canvas. But Taylor... Now, that's the other thing. People forget Taylor beat him. Now, yes, it might have been a very close fight. Where is that clip, by the way? Now, these are body shots. I tell you what, though. I'll give you a controversial take here. seen people discussing a potential or a hypothetical Taylor Prograis rematch, and based off the Catterall fight, a lot of people would pick Prograis in a rematch. I disagree. I think it's still a 50-50 fight, just like it was the first time they fought, because it's different styles. Like I said, Jack Catterall was a spoiler. Left hand clinch, left hand clinch. Prograis wasn't doing that stuff. He was saying, let's fight clean, inside fighting, punch for punch, mano a mano. And that's why Taylor was able to look his best. Well, not his best, but he was able to be at his best against a guy who really took him the distance and the limit, and very, very competitive fight. So I still think that this is, when people go, oh, Josh Taylor, he's not that good, it's because you're remembering the Catterall fight. Go back to the Baranchik War. Go back to the Postal fight. Well, that one was close to, the Prograis fight. The way he outclassed Martin and Tite Vasquez and then O'Hara Davis. This is a guy that's world-class. Now, does he have world-class skills? Not defensively. He gets hit a little bit too much, but that's because he wants to go on the offense. And here's the clip I was talking about. Actually, that's not it. What the fuck? Here we go. This one. Look at that. See? He caused Prograis to stumble there a little bit. And again, very sneaky on the inside. Both Taylor and Lopez can fight on the inside. Little shrug there with the shoulder. And then nice short left. And he made him do the funny dance. You see that? It's like there was a banana peel on the canvas. So that's how hard this guy can hit. So, based
the
on
thing is with Taylor, though, right? It's like he never has any definitive one-sided victories against top-end talent. Where, all right, for instance, Inoue goes out there and just obliterates guys who are top, ranked top 5 by the transitional board. So he's always in Prograis, right? Some people even said, I remember some people thinking Prograis won. Ramirez was a close fight. So all his fights tend to be wars to begin with. He's not like he's out there blowing people out. I think that's what leads a lot of people, but they're still victories and they should be still counted as such. But I think that's what gives people the impression he's not that good, which isn't, a smart way to look at it so much. But, you know what I'm saying? In the comparison, when you talk about someone being dominant, he's not a dominant champion. He's just a champion. He just wins the fights. Yeah, just even looking at the thing you're showing now, the more I look at it, it makes me kind of really think long and hard how it's going to be a hard ask for Lopez, which kind of makes you say right there that I don't think fucking Top Rank is pulling for Lopez, because if he was, if Lopez was their guy, right, why would they be matching him up with this, knowing where he is mentally? Why would they be making this fight? This should have been the fight at 140 after he, took out some guys at 140. I think it's a little soon for it. Mm-hmm. So it kind of tells you that I don't think Top Rank really has his back.
Well, I was listening to the latest 3 knockdown rule there with Steve Kim and Mario Lopez, and they had Bob Arum as a special guest. And I forget what the exact question was, but it was something along the lines of, how's your relationship with Teofimo Lopez? And he goes, well, it's the Lopezes. I'm paraphrasing here, but he said something along the lines of, it's never easy with the Lopezes, or it's never simple. It's always complex. So I think that was his diplomatic way of saying they're still a little bit on rocky waters. It doesn't seem like it's quite yet on the Ryan Garcia, Oscar De La Hoya level. But like you said, maybe they're saying, you know what? Maybe they still remember, it's still fresh in their memory, what Lopez did to them back in 2021 with the whole trailer.
Of course it is. That's never going to leave their mind. And now the thing he pulled up, going to race thing again, the way, what's his name, Bud Crawford did, that's not going to ever leave Bob's mind. And the fact that he's getting it from the black, side of, oh man, he's a racist. And now he's like, oh, he likes the black fighters above the Hispanic fighters. So I'm sure Bob at this point's just tired of it.
He's already tried to bite the hand that feeds him. And I mean, when a dog does that one time, he can't be trusted no more. Sometimes you got to put that dog down, right?
Oh,
Lobito, hey, what's up?
Absolutely.
No, don't do that to Lobito, man. Don't do that to Lobito. We don't want to. I know you're there in the Philippines. I know what they do over there with dogs, but no, They're not gonna do that during the stream, man. Let me just tell you that right off the bat. But that raises a good question there, Jimmy, because I mean, think about it. Top Rank, and especially Bob Arum, he can be vindictive. The fact that they're treating Teofimo Lopez here, I mean, they gave him the nice comeback fight against Campa. That was fantastic matchmaking. It was supposed to be, what's his name? Jose Pedraza, who was going to be the fight after that, which is it was a bit of a layup there for Teofimo Lopez. Things went awry when Zandor Martin was replaced him at the last minute. But it was supposed to be Pedraza. It was supposed to be a nice little layup. So maybe this is just, Top Rank being the witch from the fairy tale where she's fattening up Hansel and Gretel because she's going to eat them afterwards. Maybe that's what Top Rank is doing. They're saying, you know what, Taylor is much more consistent. He did win the 140-pound tournament, beat a bunch. Oh, but you know what? I wanted to go back to that, Jimmy, what you said. Because it is hard to it's difficult to encapsulate Josh Taylor. On the one hand, he beat everybody at 140. And I do mean everybody. Baranchik, fucking Postal, Prograis, and then Ramirez. And most of those guys were undefeated. I guess that the record has got to be something like 200 plus wins and just 2 losses from the combined the combined records. But he's beating them all, so he deserves to be on the top pound for pound list. But when you compare his skills to Usyk, Inoue, Canelo, Crawford, he doesn't have that one victory where you go, like the standout performers where he dominated another A-level guy. So it is weird he's in a bit of a strange class. It's difficult to classify him. Nevertheless, that's what I'm saying. It's weird, but he's a very good fighter. And again, Teofimo Lopez up against it. He's going to have to show the promise that he shown prior to the Lomachenko fight.
And if to go back one quick second about Bob, put yourself in Bob or even Todd DeBuff. Look at either fighter, Taylor and Lopez, and say which one of these two, if got some momentum behind them, and we needed to resign. Say the contract was up. They usually sign by bulks of 3 fight contracts most of the time. Which one's more likely to take off on you at the first sign of money, or you know what I mean, to just take off on their own, or just like Gonzalez said, bite the hand and feed them? It's clearly the Lopez's. They have a track record of that. So I don't think it has anything to do with race. I just think Lopez has made his bed. You know what I mean? You can't go fucking being an asshole to everybody and then be upset when people treat you like one.
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, and they're going the Haney's are going the way of the Lopez's. By the way, I think the Lopez's are the canary in the coal mine for the Haney's.
Yeah, Haney's not going to fight they're not fighting with Top Rank anymore. They're probably not going to resign. I think their contract's done with them, right? I don't think they're going to stay with, especially after Bob said, you won that fight easy. Yeah. Which he did win that fight. But yeah, so when your own promoter doesn't think you won, but a handful of fucking zipperheads on Twitter got you back.
Now, I want to say this about, because Black and Brown, I was listening to his show last Friday, and I think it was before that, actually, but he was talking about Teofimo Lopez because Teofimo Lopez made some comments saying that he wanted to kill Josh Taylor. Now, I dislike that. I dislike when a fighter says he wants to kill somebody, which is strange because I've said it before, I complain about early stoppages. So I know some people could say, well, wait a minute, BD, how can you dislike somebody saying that they want to murder a guy in the ring, but then again, you want to see referees stop the fights a little later. Like, let the guy get laid out on the canvas.
It's a hell and fucking gone from killing somebody to, allowing a champion every opportunity to defend himself, or take a victory out of somebody's hands. It's a big difference from that and, wanting to see somebody get killed in the ring. So I don't see who would say that to you, because they'd be being silly.
No. Yeah,
and he doesn't have to. More of a literal way to say it is like you said, BDA. It takes more than one punch. He's a one punch type of knockout type of fighter. He doesn't throw like 90 to 100 punches per round like a Matias. So I mean, he's just talking shit.
Well, the reason why, I agree with that too, and I agree with what Jimmy said earlier, but the reason why I brought up those comments was because I do agree with Black and Brown, and when he said that that's the mentality Teofimo Lopez should have. I don't know if Teofimo Lopez was speaking figuratively or literally, but listen, as a customer, as a boxing customer, I'd rather see a guy going in there with that mentality than with the mentality of, I don't know if I'm going to beat this guy, I'm not confident, I'm having trouble with my wife. Man, fuck that. Look, Josh Taylor didn't say it, but I'm willing to assume that he's going in there with that same mentality, and I think he goes in there to every fight with the same mentality, and that's what's allowed him to go to war with these animals.
It's a sporting event, though. To take it from I want to beat this dude and even beat him up. Like there's dudes in my past that I wanted to punch in the face, and there's dudes in my past that I punched in the face. Didn't mean I wanted to kill them, to take their life. Like that's just a whole another level of fucking weird to say that. You know what I mean? You can you can want to put a beating on somebody, put a hurting on somebody, beat the respect into them. You know what I mean? Out of them, or just like there's all kinds of way to word it. I want to kill him. That's just ugly energy. Why even put that out there? Like it was just stupid on so many levels.
And by the way, Jimmy, it's not the first. It's not the first.
That might go against him because he might piss Josh Taylor off, and you say, oh, okay, well the other guy, he can get pissed off too. But if you say the wrong things to a man, like you're wearing a dress, like the Scottish attire that he wears all the time, that Scottish people wear, he's like you're like a woman. Shit like that'll piss a person off. That's what they told was Emmanuel Griffith, the dude when he killed him, or somebody who's in one of the fights called him a girl, and he fucked him up.
They call him maricon. It was Benny the Kid Perret called him maricon, and Emil Griffith ended up gay bashing him right back. I mean, that was that was one of the most sordid events. One of the most sordid events in boxing history. But listen, it's the second time Teofimo Lopez said he wanted to murder somebody, except this time he said it directly about, like he specified who he wanted to kill, which was Josh Taylor. So I agree it's distasteful, but again, at the end of the day, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. And if he already said it, so I'd rather he go in there with that mentality and not change his mind than to have a meek fighter going in there in the biggest fight of his life saying, I don't know if I can beat this guy. So fuck him. Let him go to war.
Yeah, and you know what, BD? I'm going to give some credit to Teofimo because they like to criticize him. That they like to say he's weak-minded, but he showed some grit. I mean, he showed some grit by getting off the canvas against Cambosos and resiliency by dropping him in the 10th round.
That's right.
So he can obviously get up, dust himself off and fight back. He can do that. So I'm not going to say he's totally mentally shot. Because he hung in there against when Lomachenko brought it on too late, he stayed in there with them. He even took back the 12th round. So the guy has shown resiliency. He's not totally shot like people say he is. Or
exactly. Absolutely. That's a good point, Gonzalo. That Cambosos fight, I mean, it shouldn't, from a technical standpoint, was an awful fight for him. But he did show grit in that fight. He got up. He tried. He knew he was losing, and he tried like heck to get Cambosos out of there, and almost did. The other thing is somebody in the chat says that Wilder also said that multiple times and people let him get away with that. I was one of the few people that, if I remember correctly, who called him out on that. But now I'm thinking, look, if this is the way boxing is going, that this is what people are allowing, I'll keep voicing my displeasure. But at the same time, that's all I can do. I'm not going to wag my finger at somebody.
Just something that it shows to me lack of confidence. That's all. A confident guy fighter isn't going to say that, and Wilder isn't a confident fighter, and I believe he said it at least 5 times, and they're all publicly, on radio stations, which made the whole breaking down in tears over what happened to the Puerto Rican fighter all the more ridiculous.
Oh yeah, with Wilder,
and disingenuous.
Yeah, Wilder's just not. He's like you said, he's disingenuous, and well, anyway, we're not gonna get into that. But I'll say this. This fight, like I said, both guys are up against it. Hawker Mustang is reiterating your point, Jimmy. He says, a nervous dog barks the most. Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. This is what Teofimo Lopez... But like Gonzalo said, too, Teofimo Lopez has shown grit. It is the fight. Now, listen. If you look at the title of this stream, it's both guys need a critical win. It's critical that they win. It's a bit of hyperbole. I'm not one of those guys, and I know you guys are the same way. We don't say, oh, this guy lost, it's over for him. Hey, look, Teofimo Lopez is in his 20s. Josh Taylor's in his early 30s. Unless they get fucking crippled in there, God forbid, knock on wood. But unless anything dramatic happens, both guys are still going to have a career after this. It's just with this new boxing world of fighting twice a year, it's going to be a long road back. That's all we're saying. Or that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And BDA, look, Jimmy, what do you think about this? Because you also got to consider, okay, for one, he's still probably immature. Like, I mean, he's in his mid-20s. He should have grown up by now, but look at his father. Look how he acts. But what I think more so is going on here, what do you think? You know, nowadays people try to sell the fights. These fighters try to sell the fight. So they're going to say some ridiculous shit just to keep the people entertained to sell the fight.
No, you're absolutely right, Gonzalo. It's somebody. Listen, at the end of the day, it's also a tactic, PR tactic. I still dislike it. I don't respect it, but I'm not gonna. Like I said, all I'm saying is I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. What are people in the chat saying? Quack says Wilder almost became the body on his record. Yeah, I mean there you go. That's one case of him of karma. Coming back to bite somebody in the behind, and Tank Davis too. And he's saying that he could have people whacked in the streets if he wants. So I mean, there's just too much talking, not enough fighting nowadays. So I'd rather see this type of vitriol and this energy take place in the ring and not so much on the Twitterverse. But it is what it is. These young fellas, especially these Afro-Anglos. That's the way it is, man. It's like in the basketball court. I mean, it is true. I'm not stereotyping. I've seen those games, and they like to talk a lot. They like to bark a lot, but they don't fight each other in the basketball court. And now here in a world where they're supposed to be fighting, yap. Shut up and fight more. All right, listen. We're gonna be opening up the phone lines here. So if you guys want to call in, give us your prediction. It's gonna be a fantastic one, fellas. We want to get as many predictions as possible. And because it is an interesting fight. Who from 1 to 10? How much are you guys looking forward to this fight? Jimmy and Gonzalo and the people in the chat as well.
I'm looking forward to the fight, but you know this fight is kind of weird to me because I've been watching fights for like just as long as you guys have, like recently. I'm talking about like these last few years. And a lot of times, you know, we notice that like when there's a fight coming up, there's like a lot of hype. But with this one, I haven't been noticing that. Or maybe I haven't been paying attention. But you know, like the saying, the calm before the storm, I sense that calm. So really, there's something that's going to pop off. And when you think a little bit about the style clash, it's right there for that to happen. The contrast of styles. And also, BD, one more thing, the intangibles, like they're both at the crossroads. They're both at the crossroads. When one guy's going to move on to bigger and better things, while the other guy's kind of go away. Not entirely, but you mean both want to, like, you know, they want to succeed. So those two, yeah,
like you said, yeah, it's not the end of the world. Oh yeah, go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry.
I'm just not super excited for it. I am, but not super excited. You know, it is what it is. It's not a fight I was overly excited for. Yeah, to be honest with you, the robbery of Loma just left another big sour taste in my mouth about this sport in general. But I'm still very big on the Inoue Fulton fight. That's going to be a great fight. I'm actually starting to warm up again to the Crawford Spence fight. I mean, at one point I was just completely over that, but yeah, we'll see. I'm hopefully I'll get more excited for it come Saturday. But
see, actually, believe it or not, the more I think about this fight, I'm excited about it. It's probably going to be the same thing with Crawford Spence, but right now Crawford Spence, that's the farthest thing from my mind. Those guys, I don't want to jinx it or anything, but if one of those guys gets injured and the fight gets postponed or even called off, I'm not going to lose a wink of sleep over it, and that's the reality.
Yeah, and Jamie, what if Stephen Fulton shuts down because of Inoue's power, and you know he's a slippery dude, but all of a sudden gets on the back foot like Butler and doesn't come to fight? I mean, that fight can go south too. I mean, it's not a guarantee with that one. With this one, it's kind of a sleeper, bro. What do you think? It's a sleeper. Nobody's really making that much fuss about it. The calm before the storm. We got one counter puncher against another counter puncher. The Taylor more busy. by letting his hands go, punches and punches with power with both hands. The other guy maybe a little bit more pop with one shot at a time, with a lot of holes in his defense. So yeah, it's a good fight, I think.
Well, I asked people in the chat about how excited they are between 1 to 10. I'm getting a lot of 8s, 7s, 9s even. People are looking forward to this fight now that it gets closer.
And to Gonzalo's point, I'm actually expecting Fulton to fight that way. I don't expect Fulton to try to bring this fight to anyway. I think he's going to taste his power, and he's going to rely on his athleticism and his, trying not to get hit. I think you're not going to see him fight the way he fought Figueroa, that's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you this much: the phone lines are open. So we want to hear from the public. We want to hear your prediction, and we want to hear if you're excited for this. But again, last week I wasn't really looking forward to. I mean, it wasn't the first thing on my mind. Now, the more I think about it, the more I ponder. I'm looking forward to it. I'll tell you that much. Again, it's not the biggest fight of the year, but I'm really curious too. How well is this fight doing in terms of ticket sales? I googled it. I just perused the internet like 15 minutes before coming on the air. I couldn't really find much, but it is at the theater, Madison Square Garden, or it's not. It's no longer called the Madison Square Garden Theater. It's called something, a Hulu Theater or whatever. But I'm curious to see if this actually sells.
Yeah, I'm gonna mention one thing, like for the third time, BD, and this is what I think. I'm just gonna reiterate this: Teofimo Lopez, to get the most out of his punches. And why not say it? He leaps in. He leaps in. Sure. It's not always the greatest thing, but it works for him because he gets power behind him. Yeah, it's got to be from the mid-range. And maybe he don't want to do that against Taylor because he's going to be inside Taylor's wheelhouse because Taylor's longer. So if he decides to leap from the outside, he's going to get clipped, man. And he's going to lose the power with the long leap. He's got to leap in from kind of the mid-range within Taylor's wheelhouse, and I don't know how comfortably he's going to be able to do that because he tends to drop his hands, like you said. So once he starts getting hit at the mid-range, either you stay in the mid-range and punch, or you stay out, or you throw from the outside. And when he throws from the outside, he's going to lose power when he leaps in. So I don't know. I don't see it going Teofimo's way. To be honest, did you change my prediction to a 9-round KO?
Yeah, I changed it to a 9-round KO. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
no problem.
And even if he does leap in, which he tends to do, he just has to not release the punch until he's a little close, until he's closer. He can't leap simultaneously throw the punch because, to your point, Gonzalo, the longer your elbow, the farther your elbow is from your body, the more comes off the punch. That's why, Hagler, I say it all the time, the 6-inch punch, man. If my elbow was within 6 inches or less of my body when I connect on your jaw, you're going out. That was always his philosophy.
Exactly, Jimmy. There, you said it better than I could.
The Quack says, put me down for 12th round. Yes, okay. Well, wait a minute. Put me down for 12th round. Yeah, but who, Quacks? Who wins the by 12th round stoppage? You got to clarify for that. What the fuck? You got to clarify that for me. What am I doing here, stumbling over such a simple sentence? That's how excited I am for this fight. No, I'm kidding. So he says 12th round stoppage. Taylor. All right, Taylor, 12th round stoppage. I got to tell you, the other X factor in this fight is Teofimo Lopez Sr. in the corner. Is he going to have another Cambosos moment where his piece of advice at a critical, pivotal moment is, knock this motherfucker out, man. What the fuck? Is that the type of advice we're going to hear? Or are we going to hear a little something more sophisticated, something more productive? We shall see. We shall see. Also, the guy Taylor's got in his corner, I don't know who he is. Let's go to the phone lines. By the way, the phone lines are open. The phone number's in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. And I'll be putting it on the screen in a larger format as the stream goes along. Let's go to 386 here. 386, you're on the air. 386, what's on your mind?
How we doing?
Oh, is this Action Jackson?
Yeah, but you guys might have to change my name after that. You got another Jackson, He took my place, and that guy's a fucking idiot.
I don't know who you're talking about, but...
I don't know. Bucho always has him on Friday. the African American, big man. All about Devin Haney.
Oh, but, yeah. I was talking to him off the air. He's like, I don't even think he's black, by the way. He showed me a picture of himself for some reason, and anyway, that's a long story right there. You can't trust people nowadays. That's all I'll say. But yes, go ahead, Jackson. You're the one and only Jackson. You will always be the one and only Jackson on this show.
I will always be.
That's right.
That's right. Thank you, BDA. That's all I wanted to hear, man. Because you are the one and only BDA, and let me give you guys. So this is what I think. I'm disappointed about the Lomachenko Haney fight because Loma beat the fuck out of him. If you I want to hear Jimmy's analysis after this, but because he grew up with Mickey Ward, and he knows what the hurt game is. And in 9, 10, and 11, Loma had that dude fucking out. And Loma did not lose that fight, and it really disappointed me. And, I took my night to watch that fight, and I saw Loma put on a throwback performance, and he should be undisputed. And now I don't even want to watch. Now I'm going to watch the guy that fucking I guess Teo did beat Loma, but you could that fight could have went either way as well.
All right, so that fight. Look, listen, that fight. Most knowledgeable boxing fans feel like it was a bad decision. It was a robbery. But what about this Saturday? Do you think Teofimo Lopez, who did beat Vasyl Lomachenko, you think he can continue the momentum he had and lost in 2021, or you think he's going to get beat up in there?
I think he is a very live underdog. I think they might have put him on some kind of depressants. Because I heard some really retarded shit come out of his mouth when he was after one of his fights. But I think even the old, and that was hilarious when you were just saying is a T.O. Senior going to be in the corner? Why isn't he out of here yet? Great coaching, Dundee. That was pretty. That was pretty funny what you said, but I think he probably needs a drunk lunatic in his corner just to fire him up.
Now, do you think that drunken lunatic in the corner is going to get his ass knocked out?
I mean, it could, but he's going or Taylor's going. I think let me break the. I didn't check the Vegas odds. I'm not betting anymore after I lost a fucking bunch of money on Lomachenko, which I plan on suing which will never work. But in a perfect world, I would sue the fuck out of the whole Las Vegas chick.
Call Rayful Shapiro.
I lost $900. I'm really angry.
Call Rayful Shapiro. He'll help you out, man. I can hook you up with Rayful Shapiro. He never loses.
Can you give me his business card?
I sure will. But I can do it live on the air. He's speaking about his clients.
Let me finish this BDA.
What?
So I think Teo, first of all, Teo hits hard. You can't take that away. The guy can fucking crack. Does anybody dispute that?
No.
The guy can fucking punch, and Taylor is, like you said, he's never had that trademark win. Maybe Victor Postol, maybe.
So okay, but Jackson, I gotta move on here. So you gotta give me your prediction, man. Who's winning this Saturday?
Fuck, that's it. I'm going to go Lopez by knockout.
Whoa, what the fuck? Okay, you know what? You get a call back later and break it down, man.
Well, what do you mean? You asked me.
I know, but I'm just saying it came out of left field. That's all I'm saying. Like a leaping Teofimo Lopez left hook. That's what
left field. I think Teo's, listen, let me give me 30 seconds. I think Teo is going to be focused like he was for the Lomachenko fight. And I think he's going to I think he's going to catch. I don't see anything. I don't know, because Taylor could do that Ben Davidson, it's Stu Little's favorite, coach. Tie him up, It's a tough call. I'll be listening.
All right.
But I wanted to hear what Jimmy had to say, though.
About the fight? Jimmy, what do you think about the fight? He's already said. What do you think about it? He's saying Lopez by non-round stop it, Jimmy. I mean, you want to talk some sense into him, or you want to let him do his thing?
Jimmy,
I don't.
tell me what you think.
You asked me about
the Loma fight.
What's going on, Jackson? Well, what I thought it was an absolute robbery. I thought Lomachenko won that fight 8 rounds to 4. And you can go back and I don't want to even relive it, but you can go back and listen to what I said. It was a robbery, no doubt about it. But I'm still not. I'm still waiting to see I really want to see the weigh-in on Friday. See how they look.
All right, Jackson, we gotta go on. We gotta go, man. We got other phone calls here, but call back later if you want to break down your prediction a little bit more, because I'm genuinely interested in what you're talking about here. Lopez by now. Hey, but listen, on the other hand, if Lopez stops him, you're gonna look like a genius. So shout out to you, the Action Jackson, and we'll catch you on the next one, man. Take it easy out there. There you go. That was Action Jackson calling in. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, and the number's right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. 336, you're on the air. 336, what's on your mind?
Yo, Male Models, you guys can hear me, right?
Male Models, yes, we can hear you, man. What's up?
All right. So that guy didn't really break down the fight too well, but that's all good, It's no big deal. I'm going to help him out. So I think the reason this fight's a lot closer than what people are saying is this. Teo is best as a short and mid-range power counter puncher, and he's able to catch and shoot very, very well. And Josh Taylor's going to be there for him. Like, Sandor Martin was the guy who's fighting on the back foot all the time, and, Teofimo has his hands down. He's not confident coming forward and starting the offense usually if he's going to get punched back. The reason he did it so well against Loma is because he just, started too late. And Loma doesn't fight as well on the back foot. He's not as bad as the back foot fighters people say, but against bigger guys, he struggles. And that's why he had so much success walking him down. Because I don't even think it was the injury. I just think he put too much respect on Lopez's power, because Come's always been a bit chinny. But that just goes to that, how, that fight happened. Also, Taylor, a lot of the time, when he was younger, fighting Baranchik, Postal, and whatnot, Regis, in the pocket, he keeps his hands up very well. But whenever he steps off after he lets his work go off, which is where Teo will then be punching to catch and shoot, he always has his hands down. I don't know why he does that fucking shit, but it'll allow Teo to leap in, catch him with shots, and actually start on the front foot for a small period of time because he's counter-punching. That's going to be very, very dangerous for Taylor. I think this fight's a lot closer than what people think, solely based on Taylor is going to be there for Teo to hit, because he's not going to be on the back foot. And I think that unless Taylor actually does, the right thing and probably keeps it on the back foot a little bit, or at least periodically. I don't think he should just be walking towards, Teofimo trying to outgun him, because he can eventually get caught. And Teo's tough, man. He's got heart. So I know Taylor does too, but Teo's
so who is this? And who are you picking?
So my official prediction is Josh Taylor, close UD, 7-5, 8-4. However, they got neutral judges, so that's why I think Taylor will get the close unanimous decision. I think it's going to be a very close fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Teo just did better work counterpunching or knocked him out late, or vice versa. Taylor knocks out Teo late. I'm going to go Taylor close UD 8-4-7-5.
Now, who is this again, by the way?
This is the Fire Fist. The one who
Fire
talked about how Loma was going to piece up Haney and all that shit.
The Fire Fist. Yes, I remember that day people called in with their predictions. There was a lot of dirty names. The Fire Fist, the Middle Finger. I was like, hey, come on, man. What's going on? All right, well, listen, Fire Fist, I got you down here. Josh, was that?
Yep, Josh Taylor. Close UD.
Josh Taylor, close unanimous decision. All right, Fire Fist. Thank you for your call. Call back next time, right, man?
Yeah, it was him and Booty Juice and which other dude's names?
Yeah, Booty Juice and fucking the Clap. I mean, come on, it was bizarre. By the way, you guys started talking about Teofimo Lopez and about Devin Haney Lomachenko fight. The Haney fans are still coping in the chat that their guy's not getting any credit, and I got bad news for them. He's not gonna get any. So They can keep pretending like they're laughing at this, but deep down inside, we know, like Devin Haney, a little frustrated that he's not getting the credit he deserves. Let's go back to another phone call here. Let's go to 416. 416, you're on the air. 416, what's on your mind?
Yeah, man. Fucking Taylor's gonna. He's smart, man. He's gonna use his fucking. He's gonna use his fucking size. And next, actually, why do a lot of the callers that call in, they sound they're like, having fucking Jameson in their sippy cup from noon onwards? It's pretty fucking crazy. They're talking about drunk fuckers. They're probably drunk. But
I'm drunk right now.
No, Taylor's fucking right, bro. Yeah, no, Taylor's got to use his fucking size, man. He's not a dumb motherfucker, right? He got to where he was out of his pugilistic fucking skill set. 15 years, right? Fucking making it happen. Mind you, Catterall fucking schooled him his last fight. Yeah, true. And that was a fucking robbery, not as bad as fucking Loma's. Well, actually, it could have been. It could have been as bad as Loma's. It's not. Because Catterall clearly won that fight. Oh, but next thing, yeah, the other dude is kind of correct in the context that Teo has a puncher's chance. He could get that lottery shot. But, fucker, if my prediction's correct and my fucking Nostradamus hat is fucking fitted correct, fucking Taylor's gonna fucking win, and then Teo's gonna be on suicide watch, along with his pops, his poppy, man. They're gonna be on suicide watch, bro.
Interesting.
But interesting. It's factual. Like the guy's he's having a mental fucking meltdown, and I think his pops is going to be joining him in the ring. So, but if Teal gets that lottery shot, fuck, then there are a lot of cholos are going to be fucking getting fucking wasted. Yeah, man. Jameson on them.
Caller, you brought up something. You brought up something interesting there about Teofimo Lopez cholo thing. He's not a cholo. He's not even Puerto Rican, because that's what some people assume because he's from New York. This guy's Honduran, of Honduran descent, and then on top of that, on the last Top Rank special they did for the Taylor fight, he had a bandana on with the Spanish flag. The flag is.
Oh, my bad. So then, well, I don't know, man. He looks like a mini-me version of Javier Bardem. How's that for you, man?
No, he doesn't even look like him. What are you talking about? All right, but hold on. Let's get back to business here. Who is this, and what's your official prediction?
It's Ricardo. My official prediction, as I said, is fucking Taylor, and it's going to be points. It's going to be points all the way, right down the line. Unless Teo really fucks up, and then Taylor will get a TKO.
Whoa. Okay. So you said points, but there's
I doubt Taylor's gonna get. I doubt Teo's gonna get that fucked up. But if his mental game is literally that fucking weak right now, bro, he's gonna get fucking. He's gonna be taken to the shop. But it's a very good fight. I'm not dissing it. It's a very good fight. As some of the guys, people are saying, it's a shit fight, blah, blah, blah. I'm not really looking forward to it. Like Jimmy said, okay, I kind of agree with Jimmy. I'm looking forward to the Fulton Inouye fight way more than this fight. But Jimmy's not looking at the little nuances, the little hidden shit that can come off of, whatever. I think...
Jimmy, are you missing? Well, let me ask Jimmy. Let's go. Yeah. Jimmy's right here. Let's get to him. Jimmy, are you missing the little nuances, and that's why you're not excited for this fight?
Well, to be honest, I think I'm still just being bitter about the whole sport in general.
Well, there you go.
So it's probably it's a bad inflection on the fight, on this fight.
No,
All right, listen,
Jimmy,
Ricardo.
I'm with you, man. I was as fucking burnt. Like I felt like your average fucking Southern American that wanted to buy a firearm and go out fucking trekking. But no, man, I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. Fucking, boxing's corrupt, but still, it's a sport. We've followed it for years and years and years, and shit like this is gonna happen. There's only two ways that like corruption is going to be consistent in boxing: is officiating, that like the refs are going to get paid off and the judges are going to get paid off. That's one way or the other. Like the fucking Tony Weeks situation with fucking Rolly Romero, and then fucking the judge is getting paid off under the table. That's the factual thing about it. But us as boxing enthusiasts, through and through enthusiasts, we know the sport. We watch the sport. So when people can come off and say Loma can glide the rest of his life knowing that he clearly won that fight.
Well, of course, and that's all. That's really
crowd,
listen. That's all.
knew.
Listen, there's a clear line here of one side making a good argument, cohesive argument, and then the other side just going, he still won though. I mean, that's just a settle right there. But listen, Ricardo, we got to move on here to another phone call. But thank you for your call. Call back next time, right, man? Take it easy out there.
Boogie
Later,
down,
bro.
All right, don't forget to hit the like, fellas.
Yeah.
Hit the like, hit the what?
Oh, sorry. Finish what you're saying.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say for the people who are getting like upset or tired of people talking about it being a robbery, that's not going to change. If you add up just 3 polls I saw, one was the Ring Magazine, one was the Fight TV Hub, Fight Hub TV, and I can't remember the other one, but combined it was 323,000 people took the poll. Less than 16% had Haney winning. Mm-hmm. And in the comments, none of Haney's fans actually broke it down on how Haney could have won a fight. They just ad hominem attacks, name calling, you just mad. It's like, but you don't ever hear any of them saying, I want Haney to run it back. I mean, that's fine,
true,
man.
man.
If you want to celebrate a judge's victory, a judge's robbery, I mean, if you're that fucking insecure that, my pick won because fucking the judges gave it, doesn't matter, it's a robbery. Like, I've had picks, I've said it before, that I've had picks, and at the end, like, oh, dude, you won that one. No, I didn't, dude. Like, I would not take that Ward victory. I picked Ward going into Kovalev 1.
Jimmy,
I'm not going to do that.
Jimmy, same people, a lot of these same people, I've been keeping track of them. They're the same ones that are defending Tank Davis for breaking his parole. So that just lets you know the type of the class of people we're dealing with here, or class list of people.
Not just once, twice. Do you know, like, you have to, when that whole anklet thing, that has to be okayed with the judge, the address. It gets put inside the GPS inside your anklet monitor, right? He didn't just move. He moved twice. First, he went to the Four Seasons. He didn't like that. He packed up and left again, went to the other side of the city to the fucking waterfront high-rise. Like, this kid is, and then complained about the judge.
Yeah,
this judge is crazy.
No, she's crazy. No, this judge crazy. Cray. But listen, it is what it is. Those are the type of people we're dealing with here. And that's why, like Mike Adams said, sometimes you get away from toxic people. That's all I'm saying. By the way, it reminds me that when Gennady Golovkin fought, what was the guy's name? Dominic Wade. That was the guy's name. Dominic Wade. Such a horrible opponent, because that was that horrible 2016 year for him and Canelo. They should have fought in 2016. They were just putzing around. Dominic Wade was training for the Golovkin fight, and he had an ankle bracelet on. An ankle monitor. So he was fighting a guy who was on parole. So it's just, it was that type of fight. Let's go back to the phone calls here, the phone lines. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. Let's go to a phone call here. Let's go to 661. 661, you're on the air. 661, what's on your mind?
So I saw you guys showing the film analysis of the fights, Teo and Taylor. And it's funny how you pretty much, all I'm hearing is your hopes and wishes, your keys to victory for Taylor, hoping he's he's talking about 140. If you go look at that Pedro Campa fight, it was a masterclass, absolute masterclass by Teofimo. He schooled him and he broke him down slowly and then dropped him with a left jab. It wasn't a one-punch power. He broke him down. Well, Sandor Martin, the dude lunged in, and that's why he got caught. But the second one, it wasn't a knockdown; it was a hit behind the head, and he was running the whole fight. Teo won that fight. Now, he will beat Josh Taylor, and I can't wait. I already got word he will beat him. You will see. And it's going to be.
Wait a minute. You got to clarify. Hold on, Shadowban. You got to clarify that.
Up?
You hold on. You can't just drop what you dropped and then just move on. You got word that Teofimo Lopez is going to win.
Teofimo's going to win.
Expand on that.
Teofimo's going to win, but let me say this. Yes, I got word that Teofimo's going to win. You guys will see he'll win. But let me say this. If all the people in the chat listening, right, all the people who are therapists and psychologists and all, out of a sudden, right, you hear the rant they go on when it comes to Teo, right? That's because you have to realize they were hyping up this Lomachenko as the greatest of all time, right? And a young 20-year-old with 18 fights came and beat him. If they never gave Teo credit for that, you think they're going to give him credit for Taylor? No, they're just going to say, oh, he was washed up. Oh, Teofimo was way better than Jack Catterall. Come out, and then it wasn't. I also heard you guys saying, why would Top Rank set him up with they must not have his best interest. No, Teal's been chasing Josh Taylor. He's been chasing him, but what did you people do? Just hate and downplay him. Well, the time has come now, and you'll see how he schools Josh Taylor, breaks him down, and stops him.
I gotta ask you, Fire Spirit. Shadowban, I gotta ask you. I was listening to what Rep the other day, and did you hear what happened with Josue Vargas? That whole situation he got himself into?
I did not.
Well,
I don't pay
essentially,
attention to anything.
Josue Vargas essentially came out. It came out that Josue Vargas came out on OnlyFans doing some homosexual stuff. Now, Teofimo Lopez, he was hanging around with Josue Vargas. There's photographs of them hanging around in the gym. Then on top of that, like what Repet said, Teofimo Lopez is being sponsored by who? Bud Light. So there's like the rainbow connection going on. So maybe you're right. Maybe Teofimo Lopez has the establishment behind him, no pun intended, with the whole Rainbow Coalition thing, and that's why he's going to win.
You've seen how in New York they robbed him in New York, because that's the level that these China haters will go to when it comes to this level of this the greatest ever. You see how they try to call the white guy Canelo the greatest Mexican ever. Absolute comedy. He's ducking Benavides. The duck. You see when he ducks Benavides. When they'll take it to that level, they'll rob him in his hometown. He had Cambosos on the back foot the whole fight, drops him in the 11th round, and they robbed him. That's the level that they'll go to, because it's like what I said about the definition of race. These cracker ass honkies are constantly in the competition with everybody. That's why they hate China, right? And they will never give me credit for what I've shown. Right.
Now, by the way, speaking of your credit, speaking of your credit, I noticed I was on YouTube. Twitter. Then I find out that there's a John Schroen account, and it's you.
Did he already hang up?
No, he's still. But there was a Schroen account or whatever. Did you change your Twitter account? Do you have multiple accounts? What's going on there? I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah. My accounts have been they suspend them, so I have a couple of accounts and shit like that to just because I've had a couple of Twitter's accounts now. They've suspended them now because when you get they don't like you making too much noise. That's why they rob Teo. They apparently they're gonna make America great again. No, you're not. You're bummed. You didn't do nothing in life.
I gotta ask you before we go.
More than all you
Shut up, man. We're running out of time.
How many millions of Americans are starved to death?
Hold on. We're running out of time.
Put a muzzle on him.
We're running out of time. Hold on, fellas. We're running out of time. Forget the politics.
Go ahead.
Second Renaissance. Final prediction, because we got to move on here. Prediction.
Teofimo's gonna school this honky ass cracker, and he's gonna get all these people mad and never gonna give him credit. So fuck him. Fuck you, China haters. Your day is coming. Peace.
And what are you gonna say? What are you gonna call in? Are you gonna keep the same energy if he loses? Just curious.
He hung up.
Of course he hung up.
Well, I'm just looking at his official prediction.
And if Lopez loses, right, and gets stopped like a lot of people are saying he was, it wasn't even like I was predicting that. But if he loses, you won't hear from him. Won't hear from him again. And if he calls back, you won't bring it up. And China hate is like, the fuck does that even mean?
Well, it's true though.
Come up with some new material, you weirdo.
I disagree. I disagree if he calls you a China hater. But there are a lot of people that are blaming China for the world's problems when they could point the finger at their own country. But then listen, this is fucking second rounders material on top of that. That's why I didn't want you guys getting into that. Because the first time it was funny, but then it's just it's out of place.
Well, then stop him right when he starts it.
You know what? You're right though. Yeah, if I let him go, then I have to let you go as well. You're right. All right, listen. Let's go back to the
I
phone.
let it go the first 3 or 4 times he says it. It's when he keeps carrying it on and carrying on with it. Gets a little fucking stale.
I mean, listen, this is the channel where we let people say whatever they want to say. So you're right. If I let him say that, then I should let you guys go at it a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. Because I don't want to keep clog the phone lines here. All right, let's go back to the phone.
I totally understand. It's about boxing. So, all right, let's go to the phones.
Right, but you are right. But I do agree with you. I just want to leave that at that. I do agree with you. All right, let's go to the phone lines here. 713, you're on the air. 713, what's on your mind?
Hey, this is Greg Terrible, the real a.k.a. Devin Haney. I just want to say the Haney and Loma fight was real fun for me to watch. So I hooked up with this Vegas chick, and they were all rooting for Haney, meaning that fight was also like home cooked. And as far as this prediction for this weekend's fight, I got Josh Taylor, possibly even by TKO, but I'm rooting for Teofimo Lopez. Hopefully he has his mental situation straightened out, and thank you BDA for this show, the most controversial, unbiased show on YouTube.
Wait, who is this? Because I didn't get your name. I didn't get your name because I got to write it down. You said T.R. Haney or what?
Oh, Greg Charbel.
Greg Charbel. All right, Greg Charbel.
No.
Yes.
Not terrible. Greg Terrible. Greg Terrible.
Greg Terrible. Okay, that sounds like a rock and roll name right there. Greg Terrible. All right, I got you down by Taylor TKO early rounds, I think is what you said. So shout out to you there, Greg Terrible.
No, eventually. But I'm rooting for Teo. I'm rooting for Lopez. I really am. I hope he pulls it through because I think he's too young for him to just retire. Because basically that's what it is. If he loses, it's pretty much retirement for him.
Yeah, but, I mean that's what some people say. Yeah. Now, do you agree that as a Teofimo Lopez fan, are you like shadow banned? Do you think that people that root against him are China haters or?
No, you know what? Ty, the thing about being American, I'll tell you, no, I'm serious. And it's I don't know how people are gonna take it. The United States is still the number one country as far as being a social media, a regular media icon. You can't go to China, you can't, and blow up. You can only do that in America. We still control it.
There you go.
And that's all I gotta say. Whether people not, that's all on them. I've been accepting it, and the person who enlightened me on that is one of my mentors back 20 years ago. I mean, for example, the color TV was invented by a Mexican. The color TV. They can't do nothing with it in Mexico. What do you got to do? They got to come to the USA. In the USA, blowing it up. Color TV. We got colored touch phones, and that's all I got to say.
All right, great. Thank you for your call. Thank you for your prediction and the history lesson too, as well there. And then we'll catch you next one, all right, man? Take it easy out there.
Bye.
All right, take it easy. Yeah, I thought he said the colored TV, and I said I think that's the one that the Haney fans were watching, and that's why they had him winning. All right, let's go to another.
It was actually a Mexican. It was actually a Mexican too who advanced the cell phone to the level that it became now.
Yeah,
he was also, I believe, one of the richest men in the world at one time. The guy who was in charge of that telecom communication corporation in Mexico.
Interesting. All right, let's go to another phone call here. Let's go. And don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. Let's go to 416. 416, you're on the air. 416, what's on your mind?
Yeah, Bucho, it's Ricardo again. I just got to say, man, aside from fucking Punchy on fucking Punch Drunk Boxeo, this channel gets the most drunk motherfuckers calling in all the time, bro. That's the entertainment factor right here, bro. It's
well, I haven't heard too many drunk people. I'm hearing some people are just amped up. That's what I'm hearing. But I mean, you could be right. It's hard. It's difficult to ascertain. It's difficult to ascertain.
These fuckers are like, Nah, man, these fuckers are on fucking siestas from fucking noon onwards, bro. Yeah. Anyways, let's see the voting coming in. It's gonna be like ridiculous.
You're right. That's a good point. I'm going to open up a poll because I'm taking phone calls here, but let's open up a poll too, see what people are saying. All right, let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to, who is next? Fuck, what is this? All right, I'll go with whatever. 520, you're on the air. 520, what's on your mind?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. 520, what's on your mind?
Yo, what's up, man? This is Glenn, man. I'm over here in Oklahoma right now, but I'm from Dallas. I wanted to say, man, that Teofimo, Josh Taylor smack talk or trash talk was one of the best promos I've ever seen. I know not a lot of, it didn't get like 1 million views or anything like that, but what I saw there was a different Teofimo Lopez. I feel like he was humbled his last fight. He was humbled by Cambosos. Josh Taylor, he's just not marketable in the U.S., man. He thinks he's better. I mean, more marketable than he would be, in his country. But his accent's too thick, and his trash talking is not as good as Teofimo Lopez. What better fight would it be when two dads talk shit? Let's say Devin Haney versus Teofimo Lopez for that belt. That's gonna sell so many pay-per-views, and it's gonna make Tank look bad. And when Tank gets out of jail, his ass is gonna be like all jealous and shit. And then we're finally gonna get something with whoever the winner is versus Tank, because Teofimo and Tank, or Devin Haney and Tank got to fight somebody. And I feel like Teofimo will keep it going as far as sales, as far as excitement. People are going to love it if Teofimo wins, even though a lot of people hate him. I'm not the biggest fan of his style, but I'm a fan of how much shit he talks and how much shit his dad talks. And it's going to be super entertaining if he fucking wins, but I don't know if he will. I think he might lose. That's all I got to say.
Well, I mean, first of all, that's a good point that what you said, that you enjoyed the trash talk. I mean, that's why they put it there. And number two, you sort of gave your prediction, but we need an official prediction from your end.
Oh, the official prediction is Josh Taylor's going to probably whoop his ass. To be honest, if he beat Prograde, just hearing Taylor say that he lost his sight, he couldn't feel anything with Prograde, and he went through that adversity to beat Prograde. I mean, Devin Haney should not touch Prograde after what I heard Josh Taylor say. That's all I got to say, because that boy Devin Haney's going to get whooped. But Josh Taylor, if he could go through Prograde with like his vision going away like that, he's going to whoop on that boy Teo. But, man, I want Teo to win so bad. That's all I got.
All right. Good call there, Glenn. Call back next time, man. Take it easy out there.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Cyber Demon Sebastian says, Tank ain't fighting shit except the Dwarf Cruz. I mean, I think that's what they're going for. I think that's what his trainer said. So we'll see what happens on that end right there. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like really helps us out. Let's go to the phone call here. Let's go to 757. 757, you're on the air. 757, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, I got Teofimo Lopez winning by, I think, 9th round TKO.
Whoa.
Teofimo's hit the deck a couple times. I think, what was it? Cambosos put him down, and Sando Martin, I think, put him down.
That's right, yes.
So Teofimo didn't have the best chin in the world, but he's not affected by it. You know what I mean? He doesn't, he'll get back up and fight hard. Whereas we've seen a non-puncher put, who's this guy? Josh Taylor. We've seen a non-puncher put him down, and Teo has power. Teo's a puncher. Whereas Josh Taylor, he's kind of like a volume guy. Right? You never see him one punch knock out a guy or nothing like that. We've seen that from Teo. So it's a battle of who has the toughest chin. I think it, on Teo's side, I don't think his chin has to be that tough against Taylor. Whereas Taylor's chin better be on his A game against Teo. So, there's guys talking about this fight means like retirement or something like that for Teofimo Lopez. It's like these guys. I don't know where you guys are from, or I think these are Instagram boxing fans or Twitter boxing fans or what. I want to see Teofimo Lopez fight all the top guys. I don't care if he loses the majority of those fights. Lomachenko still has a lot of fans. He's lost 2 of his 3 top fights. He stepped up 3 times and lost twice. You know, he lost to Teo and he lost to Devin Haney. And he's still relevant. So Teofimo Lopez, as long as he stops saying crazy stuff over the internet, he'll still maintain his relevance because he's a guy that we want to see. He's a power puncher. He can be an action hero if he wants to be. You know what I mean? Like, I like that. You know what I'm saying? All these guys talking about he might as well retire. What are you guys talking about? We just lost a fight to Josh Taylor.
Yeah, that's what's wrong with the sport. That's what's wrong with the sport when people start saying this guy's his career is over. Because fighters listen to that and then they believe it and they go, oh shit, that's the public perception that if I lose, I'm done. So yeah, man, listen, these guys are Lopez, like I said at the beginning of the show, he's in his 20s, Taylor's in his early 30s, I think. So yeah, it's far from over. Unless one of them gets crippled in this fight. So hey, by the way, who is this? Because I got to write the name down for the prediction.
This is VA Money.
VA Money. Okay, VA Money, I got your prediction down here. Lopez, 9th round TKO. All right, well, listen, we got to move on to our phone call, but thank you for your call. Call back next time, all right?
All right.
Take it easy out there. All right, let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 336. 336, you're on the air. 336, what's on your mind?
Yo, I'm back. I wanted to add something a little bit to like the winner of this fight and where I'd put them on the pound-for-pound list.
Well, who is this?
For now, I'm going to just assume Loma retires, right, for now. I don't know if he's coming back or not, so I'm going to exclude Loma from the list.
Who is this?
I would go Usyk, in a way, Beterbiev, Bivol, Canelo, Teo, or Taylor winner. And then you have Terrence Crawford, Estrada, Jermell, and Spence. So that'd be my top 10 list. I actually had to fix it a little bit. And obviously the winner of Crawford and Spence will be like probably in the top 5, I would imagine. So definitely above the winner of Teo and Taylor. But yeah, that was pretty interesting.
It was.
I was going to add something else, but I forgot. So what?
Let me tell you something about that pound for pound.
What would you guys have?
Well, hold on.
Yeah, would you guys have the
number one.
pound for pound?
Let me tell you something. No. Let me tell you something. This discussion, this pound for pound discussion, is going to get very interesting on the 3rd week of July. Because on Tuesday, the 25th or whatever it is, it's Inoue versus Fulton.
You got Inoue Fulton, yep.
Yeah, and then a couple of days later, you got Crawford versus Spence. So that's going to shake up. That week alone is going to shake up the pound for pound list more than any other moment in the year until this moment.
I agree.
So that's going to be interesting.
But would you guys have the winner somewhere on the pound for pound list for this fight? Like in the top 10?
Well, let me ask Gonzalo. Gonzalo, what do you think? If depending on the winner, the way they win and all that, is a pound for pound slot for Lopez available?
Well, yeah. Like I would kick one of the lower tier guys off, like the 9th or 10th spot, if he proves to be more dominant than the guy that I got in the 10th or 9th place. So if he outdoes like Devin Haney or he outdoes Lomachenko, which they went tit for tat basically, but Haney officially won. Well, I thought Lomachenko deserved to get it, and I got Loma at number 9 and Haney at number 10. If this guy outdoes those 2 guys by being more dominant over Teofimo Lopez, then I would say I would put Josh Taylor back again in my top 10 because I used to have him. But based off the Catterall fight, I took him off.
I got you.
One of those things.
Yeah, he's not in my top 10 right now either. I'm just saying at the moment he would be 6 if he wins. Or even if Teo wins, like he would be 6. You got to think about it. Does Terrence Crawford have a win like a Lomachenko or a Josh Taylor on his resume? Does he have anything close to that? He had Victor Postol, I think his best win.
That's a very good point
close
right there.
to those guys.
That's an excellent point. I got to tell you.
That's why. Now, if Taylor if Crawford beats Spence, then obviously I'm going to put Crawford above Teo. But the night of the fight, if Teofimo beats Josh Taylor, and he has a chance to do it, it's like 60-40, 65-35, I'm leaning towards Taylor. You have to have him in your top 10. You have to, whether you like the guy or not.
I tell you what, it's going to be a very interesting
do you think Loma might fight Shakur or what? Like if he doesn't retire, or do you think Do you think he'd even get neutral judging to have a fair shake, or do you think he'll just get like? I don't think he's gonna accept a fight in Vegas with 3 American judges again. Like, do you think Shakur would be willing to like go to New York?
Yeah, he shouldn't accept any of that anymore unless he wants to keep getting robbed.
I agree. He should be out of Vegas.
Yeah, that's the thing. Though. All right, well, listen, caller, thank you for your call. We got to move on, but thank you for your call. Call back next time, right, man?
Yeah. That's just my
Take it easy out there.
pound list. All
right. Now, super chats here. Hold on a second. Super chats. Who donated? High and Low Sports Centrum. Shout out to him for his contribution to super chat. He says, Teofimo Lopez, the next frontier of boxing. The next frontier. I wonder what he means by that. Sounds very Westernish. I don't know. I'm imagining some music there, some country music, a couple of cowboys shooting it up. I mean, I don't know. I think that's what he means by that. And then he donated again with the super chat. He says Teofimo Lopez, June the 10th is coming. And then before that, another contribution. Shout out to him. He says the prediction is boxing winning. 2 super gladiators ready to die for our entertainment. Well, listen. First of all, thank you for your contributions. Really appreciate it. High and low. I hope nobody dies. I mean, I want a good war. I want to see somebody get fucked up. But dying, nah. Again, that's where I draw the line. So shout out to you, my friend, for your contribution to the super chat. Let's go to our phone call here. Let's go to 510. Hold on a second. Yes, 510. 510, you're in the air. 510. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, Jimmy? What's up, BDA? What's up, Gonzalo? I'm not sure if Bucho's there. Forgot. I was just calling in. I mean, overall, I'm excited about this fight, actually. I think it's going to be a good night for boxing. Given, like, what y'all broke down a bit, I had to step out, but I came back, too. And I actually wanted to change my my prediction because, honestly, even though, obviously, you know, Teofimo has a lot of flaws, and he just gets away with it because he's just so physically talented. I think the way the fight might turn out is, like, I think he's just going to walk his ass down and just put him out, just hurt him. Because that explosiveness, regardless of what it said, it's kind of like, I liken it to, like, how, you know, when a lot of people are talking about that Fruit Loop Ryan Garcia, like, a lot of people were saying, like, oh, man, he has, like, you know, he's very talented, like this and that. Honestly, he was only really good at one thing, as opposed to Teo. The guy has, like, a lot more, like, how do you say, like, he's a lot more dynamic in a lot of ways. So if I could change, like, my prediction, I'd say I want to say, I might sound obviously stupid, but I say 4th round TKO, like Teofimo.
Wait. Who is this again?
4th round TKO, Teofimo.
No, who is this? Who are you? What's your name?
Who am I? Sorry. It's Mr. Booty Juice.
Mr. Booty Juice. Okay, so now you're saying, okay, you went from Teofimo by unanimous decision to Teofimo by early stoppage, is what you're saying?
First round, he said.
Yeah, early stoppage, 4th round TKO, yeah.
4th round TKO. All right. Let me tell you, we've had some people.
Yeah, but it's like how?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say, yeah, like, it's just because, like, just looking at the fight, right? Just looking at, like, even that small breakdown, I'm starting to see, like, you know, I just get a feeling like, man, this guy's just gonna, like, walk him down, because there's no reason for him not to. Because again, this is Teo's fight to lose. I got cut off. I was gonna make this point last time, but because my phone is just kind of shitty, so whatever. But Teo, this is his fight to lose. Honestly, this guy should win this fight, and if he happens to lose it, it's gonna be his fault. And I would think the way he would lose it is just getting caught, and he might not even get put away, but he'll for sure lose. Like, he'll probably get knocked down twice if Taylor happens to. Because again, what Gonzalo pointed out beforehand, like, he's very, like, if he gets flustered, obviously he'll get, like, you know, he'll get touched and he'll get put away. So, and one last thing, I was just gonna say this too. Like, I don't get, like, to an extent, I get the whole, like, Lopez having a hard time and his personal issues, but how come nobody's said this shit about Ryan Garcia? Like, the dude's clearly a diva. You know what doesn't make sense in my mind, and I said this before, and I just said it before off air. I forgot who I was talking to exactly. I think it was Never Sobers or something on Discord. The point thing, like, what I never get is, like, how is it that, like, a lot of people are making a big fuss right about Lopez's mental health? Which, by the way, in my assessment, I don't think that dude's, like, really that fucked up. Like, I don't think there's a lot of, like, he just seems like he's, like, the sort of personality type where, like, he's trying to, you know, like, it's like a boxing mentality where it's like, oh, you know, I got this going on, whatever, but I'm gonna prove you wrong. You think I can't do this? I'll do that. You know, highly like some sort of highly competitive mindset, whatever.
Right.
But point blank, I just dislike how,
Go ahead.
Hello?
Man.
Yeah, I was just saying, but yeah, I just dislike how like nobody's called like that Fruit Loop out. Because to be honest, I've said honestly, I was never a fan of Ryan Garcia. If it wasn't for Gonzalo pointing out the certain things that he's good at and then reassessing his toolkit, I'm like, you know, aside from Gonzalo, I think honestly, like a lot of those dudes in the Garcia camp, man, they're drinking the Kool-Aid, man. So like, I don't understand why this conversation is being brought up like with Teo. But the real motherfucker that's actually like mentally unstable is that kid. He's clearly a diva. He does what he wants to do. And the guy's going to go nowhere. Honestly, if anything, I feel like that dude's going to end up fighting Broly. That's the only logical fight that makes sense now. And that doesn't mean shit. You know, I think overall, like I said, I mean, to me, he goes away from boxing, get rid of sayonara, like, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I got Teo. Hopefully it's a good fight. I'm excited for it. I'm for sure going to get a little tipsy. So, you know, and I try to enjoy my Saturday. So, yeah, man, but that's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Right.
So, thank you guys. See you all later. Take care.
Thank you, Mr. Booty Juice. And like Reverend Pickles in the chat is saying, the juices are flowing. Let me tell you. So, shout out to him. And we'll catch you on the next one, Mr. Booty Juice. Thank you for calling in, man.
All right, man. Take it easy. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Listen, yeah, the people in the chat are saying that. I mean, he brought up a good point. Teofimo Lopez, if he wins this Saturday, people are gonna start. People are gonna forget about this whole mental health thing because it is speculation at the end of the day. Shout out to High and Low Sports Zentrum for his contribution to the super chat. Again, he says, Teofimo Lopez, what sounds fixed, you better fix it with your hands. Well, there you go. I mean, he's dropping some Confucius like gems here. In fact, here's another one from him. He says, Teofimo Lopez, to be beaten, to win, to dare to die in the ring. Shakespeare over here. Let me tell you. Shout out to High and Low Sports Centrum. I tell you, we got more and more Lopez believers coming out of the woodwork here, and I'm starting to get more excited by the prospects of a good fight this Saturday. Yes, sir, Bob. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 786. 786, you're on the air. 786, what's on your mind?
All right, so how you guys doing? This is DP David. I called in last week. Glad to be on the air. I'm excited for the fight. What's on my mind? I just want all the people that are real Teo fans to stay Teo fans, and the people that aren't, that don't. You know, because I hear a lot of people now. All of a sudden, the fight's close. You know, they want to start trying to hop back on the bandwagon because they know, you know, he's one fight away from possibly, you know, doing another upset, you know, another big upset. So I just think it's funny, you know, I hear one of the guy that was going back and forth with Jimmy, that nut there, that guy's like, he's repping Teo and he's calling people names. You know what I'm talking about, BDA?
Absolutely. How can I not know? Of course, yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like people like that, it just seems like you like Jimmy said. Like you think he's gonna call if Teo loses? You know what I'm saying? You know, if Teo loses, I'll still call and say, "Hey, I was wrong." You gotta be. That's the thing about with boxing. You gotta be fair. When your guy loses, you gotta come up. That's the greatest thing about the sport. You know. But you know, I've been a Teo fan since he started. Not like since he started, since he like blew up on the scene. So I went through the downs with him, and when everyone was calling him with all these things they're saying about him, I went through that, and now he's back. I won't say on top, but he's, you know, this win would definitely cement, you know, his legacy as beating the two top guys at that time. Because Loma was that dude at 135. Nobody wanted to fight Loma BDA. You know that. Nobody, not Tank. And I got no problem with Tank, but he didn't want to really fight him. Mayweather was kind of like shying that away, and Haney wasn't even really known. So Teo set the tone for all these unifications. You know, he set the tone. So we got to give him credit, you know. But I got a question for you, Gonzalo. What is Teo? Because I'm as a fan of Teo, I'm going to be honest. Like, this is a tough fight for him. You know, Josh Taylor is no joke. Josh Taylor, you know, he can fight. So Gonzalez, because I respect your knowledge, what does Teo got to do to win?
Well, like I said, I mean, Jimmy mentioned the closer he is, the more he can throw that short shot with, the body weight behind it. He's short and compact. If he's going to leap in, it's got to be for mid-range. But by doing that, he risks a little bit or a lot by being within Taylor's wheelhouse. In other words, you got to get comfortable getting the range where you can get clipped, but obviously you gotta catch and you gotta shoot. So basically, when Taylor throws punches, you gotta be comfortable catching whatever Taylor throws, and shoot right back. Shoot right back from the right distance. Don't do it from too far away, because the less you're gonna put your body weight behind the shot, the less your elbow's gonna come far apart from your body, where the less power you're gonna be able to land. To throw with power. So basically what you got to do is you got to be within the range to be able to get more weight behind your shot if you're Teofimo Lopez. Because if you do it from the outside too much, you're not going to put the weight behind your shot once again. That's what I think.
Well, there you go. Hopefully that answers your question there, DP.
Gotcha.
David.
So basically you're saying he's gotta be in that like Goldilocks mid-range, like not where he's lunging in like what he did versus Sandor Martin and getting clipped. And he's kind of got to be like, because the one thing I do like about this is Teo fights better when guys are coming to him. When he has to chase you around, that's where he makes a lot of mistakes. That's what I noticed. Because he was the aggressor versus Kambosos, and he was the aggressor versus Sandor. So I think Taylor coming at him and him getting Taylor mad, I think that's a perfect remedy for Teo to clip him with some good shots.
Yeah, absolutely. So DP David, what was your prediction?
Okay, so my prediction is, and hey man, I'm like Teo's father. I'm like Nostradamus, because I said Haney by split decision. If we break it down, I say we know Loma really won, but that was close. So my pick, I'm gonna go with Teo and I'm gonna throw you guys a little nugget, and you guys should talk about this, because Josh Taylor got one of his judges in, like he requested for one of his judges, and it got approved. The guy's name is Gary something. So because of that, I'm going Teo by split decision. I don't think anyone's getting knocked out.
All right, there you go. And by the way, if Taylor would have gotten in two of his judges, he would have essentially DP'd the judging section. No pun intended, right there, DP David. Thank you for your call, and we'll catch you on the next one.
You're the man, BDA. Thank you.
Absolutely. You're the man with that thing. Take it easy, man. Yes,
that
indeed.
Was a good call.
Indeed. Yeah, Jimmy now, he's starting to get a larger picture now. Hey, Teofimo Lopez fans are coming out and saying that he could win. Maybe now Jimmy's starting to think, I might pick Jimmy. I mean, Jimmy, I might pick Teofimo. Jimmy, is that correct, or are you still swaying more towards Taylor?
Well, like I said from the beginning, I still haven't made my pick yet, because I can see. I think he has the athleticism. He's the faster of the two. Taylor does come forward. I'll tell you right now, if he can get Taylor going backwards, then it's not good. If Taylor at any time starts going backwards, mentally it's Lopez who's winning that fight. Whoever the ring generalship, like I put a lot on who's pushing, setting the pace. You can set the pace even if you're a counterpuncher. You know what I mean? You can control a fight being a counterpuncher if you implement what you want to do. So I think his athleticism, his speed, and I can see he has the tools to win. Can he put it all together that night? That's to be seen.
You see, Jimmy, what I'm expecting from Teo, like if he's gonna have success, don't try to be too dynamic. Do the catch and shoot, but keep it to like maybe one or two things. Have a fallback strategy to like readjust. But don't try to be too dynamic, because Taylor, he can punch with both hands. He can throw different type of punches. So the more you try to do, the more you're going to open yourself to get caught. So I'm basically saying what Teo needs to do, he needs to catch and shoot from a closer distance to get the most he can behind the shot to be able to blast that dude away, Taylor, with some power. But if you do it from too far away, you're going to lose steam on your shots. And the dude's going to see you coming from a further distance away. So basically, you got to burst in, blow on that dude, and be prepared to take some shots. So that's what, like, the whole catch part, that whole one, like, not being too dynamic, keeping it to, like, one or two game plans. be prepared to take some shots. So you got to be able to keep your hands up and take some shots.
All right, now.
And try to catch him between his punches too, because you'll get him off balance that way. Even if you don't hurt him, if you can still put somebody down if they're off balance enough.
Because a lot of the times when I think that Teo gets caught, I think he just gets surprised and he gets caught cold. I don't think that he's got a bad chin. He's got to warm up to it, and in other words, be prepared to take shots. Because when you're unprepared and you don't see a punch coming, that's when you're getting dropped, and all of a sudden, whoops! You got to clean yourself, dust yourself off, and get up and all right, shake yourself out of that. So he doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, have a bad chin. He just got to be expecting a shot in order to warm up to it and clench that jaw and be able to be more game in there and not get dropped and lose a point or two by getting dropped.
I mean, listen, Gonzalo's really on this fight. Let me tell you, he's not letting it go. He's gonna be watching every move. That's Gonzalo. So you better not try to get away from him because he'll get you. I want to say this though. A couple of super chats here. Shout out to Jonathan Morrison for his contribution to super chat. He didn't leave a message, but I'm pretty sure it was nothing but complimentary towards all of us, fellas. So let's give him a hand for that. Shout out to Bushido Kai for his contribution to super chat. He says the same guys who cried Glovegate and that Ward did not punch are the same that think Haney won. Loma is relevant at 135 if the 10% fans like it or not. I think Josh gets hit too much to hang with Teo in the later rounds. Well, there you go. Let me write that down. So he says, I think Josh gets hit too much to hang with Teo in the later. So I'm going to go ahead and assume, Bushido, you're saying Lopez is going to win that one. Let me check my list, see here if he had actually given a prediction. No. Okay, so I wrote it down right there. Shout out to Bushido Kai for his prediction. And yes, indeed, the 13% who think Haney won, not exactly the best and brightest. Let's just put it that way. All right, let's go to, shout out to High and Low Sports Central for his contribution super chat. He says, Teofimo Lopez, the man to beat is Taylor. Whoever wins is the man. Well, there you go. Shout out to High and Low Sports Centrum. And hold on a second. I'm trying to get to another super chat from. Okay, shout out to High and Low Sports Centrum again. He says, Teofimo Lopez, the next frontier of boxing. You got to explain what that means. And you don't necessarily have to super chat. I'll just read it there, see what it says. By the way, shout out to Jaguar Paw. He says, I think the fight should be canceled because New York City is filled with smoke and Teo has asthma. What about that, fellas? I see we got to recognize here a former New Yorker. Recognize, thank you for being on. What do you think about that? Should this fight be? I remember Teofimo Lopez Sr. said that when his son fought Cambosos, he was going like that. So is it prudent to fight in New York with the bad air quality?
Well, I've seen some images and it does look fucking bad. I don't know what that whole thing seems strange to me, but it depends what's going on. I don't know where he's at, where he's training. I don't know how long that smoke's going to stay in the air. You got to take all those things into consideration. If he does have bad respiratory or, just a significant respiratory issue, something that could be affected by something like smoke, then I don't think that would be good for him. And I could see that fight getting canceled if it's an issue, let's say, come the fight's this Saturday, right? So if it doesn't clear out by, let's say, Friday, I want to say, right? They might not, maybe they don't want to take that risk. New York is one of these smart cities. So, they're going to take every, if they feel like they got to cancel an event like that, they'll do it for sure. So
can they,
it all depends.
Well, let me tell you, first of all, if it doesn't clear up by Thursday, I might have to step up and do something about it. That's number one. Number two, don't they I'm just saying, I'm not kidding around. I got a couple of aces up my sleeve, but I'll just put on a Native American suit and start dancing. But listen, here's the thing: can they, if the fight doesn't can't they have a plan B? Like, can't they rent a boat and sail it up the St. Lawrence River or whatever, and hold the fight there on the river?
Well, I think the river is outside, so right, you have the same issue. You have a worse issue, more than likely.
That's what I'm saying.
You trying to kill Teofimo, man? What's wrong with you?
No, I didn't start the fires, and I am not trying to kill Teofimo.
That nut job that calls in all the time, whatever the fuck his name is. He's gonna call you a title hater. You know, you'll say title hater.
Yeah.
You want Teofimo to lose. No, look, the fight itself, I'm gonna give Teo a good shot. I do give him a pretty good shot. I'm going Taylor. I think Taylor checks all the boxes when I think about certain advantages. Number one advantage is that I always give a fighter is usually not all the time. There's nuance, as they say, or there's content behind all of that. I give the fighter that throws more punches always the advantage, right? So when it came to Lomachenko versus Devin Haney, I picked Lomachenko because he has a lot of better punches he usually throws, where Haney's a guy like he only throws really his jab, and outside of that I don't really know anything else. Teofimo is kind of like a one punch at a time type of fighter. You know, he's a really good counter puncher, but he's good in the sense that, you know, he does it one at a time. He wants to catch you coming in with a big shot. Obviously, his signature punch was against Comey, I want to say. Could he catch Taylor in a fashion like that? I guess all that's still possible, and I would say that's early in the fight.
So you're saying?
I think as the fight goes along, I just think that as the fight goes along, I mean, let's take Teofimo's track record a little bit outside of the Kambosos fight where he started off bad and probably picked it up a little bit better towards the end. But his two, the fight that he had with Lomachenko is the one that stands out for me. You know, Loma basically didn't do anything in the first half of the fight. Neither did Teo, but it looked like Teo, you know, got the best of the first 6 rounds. I'm not saying he won all 6, but he looked like he was. If you had to judge who was winning the first half of the fight, you would say more than likely Teofimo. Right, and then he faded late. And when the fight got going, when Loma picked up the pace, Loma was clearly winning, and he was beating him up. And I know in the 12th round, Teofimo gets a lot of credit for that. But me personally, Teofimo gets a lot of credit, and he should get some credit for fighting back. I think he got too much credit by them giving him the round, but it was a close round. But he fought back is what he did because he was in trouble. And so that shows some type of adversity late. But I think that if I had to judge it on a complete fight, I gotta go Josh Taylor. But you know, with everything that's been going on, Josh Taylor didn't look so great against Jack Catterall. Teofimo's still a pretty viable puncher. I give him a shot, but I'm going Taylor to win this fight. More likely by on points, you know, something like a unanimous decision, majority decision, split, whatever. He could stop him late, and if he does, I think he does it somewhere like 11 or 12.
All right. Well, I got you down for that right there. Shout out to High and Low Sports Zentrum for his contribution to Super Chat. He says Teofimo Lopez, the man to beat is Taylor. Who wins is the man. No, actually, hold on. I actually read that one. Shout out to Greg Terrible. He says BDA is the most controversial boxing show. Well, shout out to you, Greg. And let me tell you, we haven't even gotten started yet. So stay tuned for that. We'll be coming out with some real explosive stuff later on. Shout out to High and Low Sports Zentrum for his contribution. He says Teofimo Lopez, 3 points. Nothing will stop the course of history. Oh, it's getting very historical and very confident there for Teofimo Lopez. I like it. Let's go to another phone call here, fellas. Let's go to 513 here. 513, you're on the air. 513, what's on your mind?
What's up, brother? Hey, great show, y'all. Great show. Hey, this is a 50, well, it's a 55-45 in favor of Taylor, but I'm going to go with the American. He's bringing the belts home, y'all. The only chance Taylor has is by knockout. They will cry again, like they crying over the Lomachenko loss. You're going to hear the Taylor fans crying, America just keep robbing people. That's what they going to say.
because Lopez will get the nod in the decision, and that little judge that he hired to be in the fight, he's going to go Lopez's way too. In the close fight, we're going to have the same tiers once again if it goes to decision. But Lopez, I think this easy money for the upset.
Easy money.
I think he showed you what he can do as an underdog against Lomachenko, and he will show you once again against Taylor.
Recognize, go ahead.
Well, boxing fans will have a problem with it if the same result happens. If it's Lomachenko kicking Devin Haney's ass for most of the rounds, and they give it to to let's say it's Taylor doing the same thing Loma did, and they still give it to Lopez, there's gonna be a problem. Of course it is.
Yeah, they're gonna cry again, just like they're crying now about the Lomachenko loss. Remember, he cried about three losses.
That's not crying.
He came into this fight undefeated.
That's not crying. That's pointing out. That's just pointing out corruption. That's not crying, dude. You just say it's corruption because you believe that. That's for the people that believe that Haney lost, but for the people that believe Haney won, it's not corruption. Which is the majority.
For the people that believe Haney lost, yes, it's corruption.
No, it's the majority of boxing fans thought Haney lost the fight. Yeah, what's the problem? That they could point that out. They're not even.
I'm saying, and how many times have we seen this? And how many times have we seen boxing fans cry over this decision?
If you're saying, listen, why are you crying over a sport that's corrupted? I agree with you. I totally agree. But if you're saying, I don't agree with people pointing out corruption, no, I don't agree with you on not 1 cent on that. I can't
only reason. I mean, it's only corrupt. Just think if you in your mind you think Haney won, you don't think it's corrupt. You just think it's corrupt because that you believe that Lomachenko won the fight. You know what I mean?
Well, how many people?
Just think how many fights.
I get what you're saying, but what I'm trying to point out is that if something is bad, for you not to say anything and say, "Well, take it like a man," I think it's wrong. Is what I'm trying to say. If you see something that's corrupt and you're like, "Listen, man, that dude won that fight, and they gave it to that other dude," I don't like that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
But what about when you Roy Jones and you think Haney did win the fight? And now people saying
why would you hint that they're going to give it to Lopez?
Go ahead, sir.
What's the question, Gonzalo?
No, it's the caller is also hinting already that they're going to give it to Lopez. He's already assuming that they're going to give it to Lopez. Now, recognize what basically saying. When there's corruption, obviously you can speak about it, but you're already assuming that it should go to Lopez without any evidence or the fight actually having taken place. No, Taylor's the favorite. Why are you already assuming
he's going to get the nod in the decision? I think it's going to be another close, controversial decision, and Taylor's going to lose. I think Tio's going to get the nod, but I think we're going to hear the same fans crying about Devin winning, crying about Tio winning. Just like they cried when Tio won the last fight. A lot of people thought he lost to Sando Martin.
Some people in the chat are insinuating, or I think that you're insinuating that since both fighters are white, that's why the same fan base is going to be complaining about it. Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm just saying the American fighter is going to get the nod once again in his hometown. I think in a close fight, a close competitive fight.
I don't know if Teofimo Lopez considers himself American. But hold on, I don't know if, first of all, we're running out of time here. We're going to move on, but I don't know if Teofimo Lopez, I don't know what he considers himself. He's like David Benavides. He's Honduran, then he's Spaniard, then he's American one another time. It's like, I don't know what he is, but we'll see what happens.
I'm just saying, but when Saturday comes, you're going to see that I'm right. You're going to be like, damn, he called it. He said they was going to be mad. It's going the same, because remember, a week before the Devin Haney fight, the corruption happened.
Sorry for putting it, but when you mention a close competitive fight, that means that basically you're saying all the swing rounds go to the American. That's my problem with boxing nowadays. Just because it's close and competitive doesn't automatically mean that the American should always get it, and that's what get it.
Who did you have winning the Catterall Josh Taylor fight? Who did you have winning the Catterall Josh Taylor fight?
Yeah, but 2 rounds don't make it right, man. 2 rounds don't make it right.
I'm saying, who did you have winning? Who did you have winning yourself?
Yeah, Catterall, but that doesn't justify that just because fucking Catterall got ripped off, that now in the future other fighters should get ripped off, or that fighter that fucking won should actually get ripped
I'm saying
off now because
that's how boxing is. What goes around comes around. It's gonna come back on Taylor this time. That's all I'm saying.
listen,
Don't act like it's just gonna happen then. It's gonna happen again and again and again. This is boxing.
First of all, I gotta ask you.
I agree with Paul on that. That's going to continue to happen. He's right about that.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. This is exactly what's going to happen. Taylor is going to get denied if it goes to decision.
I gotta get your name. I gotta get your
not
name.
Taylor, but Tio.
I gotta get your name. Who is this? So I can write it down in the prediction here.
This CK from Cincinnati King, man. I'm gonna call y'all back and hear
is this coach?
Tio is going to get denied. He will be the new champion.
All right. Now I gotta.
Is this the guy coach?
No, that's not him. Now listen.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Never mind.
Now if Taylor knocks him out, he gets the win. Now Taylor got to knock him out to win. You seen with the Haney performance, they not having it. We bringing the belts all back to America.
Well, there you go. At least you're honest about the American bias.
Listen,
well, shout out to you, Cincinnati.
He's truthful about a lot of things that he's saying. I mean, I might have misunderstood his point in the beginning, but in terms of the fight's close, there's close rounds, meaning those rounds, in his opinion, and I kind of agree with him to a large extent, that they're going to give those rounds to the guy they want to give it to. And in this case, Teofimo, he is from America. And that is true. And for boxing fans to act shocked, I think that's what he's saying.
Exactly.
He's probably saying like,
that's all I'm saying right there. Don't I don't want to hear no more tears when you know the shit corrupt when you watching it.
There you go.
You know boxing is corrupt. Every time they want to cry when their favorite fighter lose. No, our favorite fighter get robbed too. You know what I mean? So every time it might be time for your favorite fighter to get robbed.
I'll say this. If you stop complaining, I'll say this. If you are getting shafted and you don't do anything about it, you will continue to get shafted. So if fans, the only weapon they have is to voice their opinion and to pay and to voice their opinion with their pocket too, meaning staying away from certain fights, then I think that's the way to go. But to ask fans to lie down and just take it, I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, listen, CK, thank you for your call, and we'll call back next time, right?
You remember they said we never watching boxing again after the Lomachenko decision. Remember how many fans lied and said they'd never watch boxing again after the Lomachenko decision?
Yeah, I heard some.
So remember that. You got to hold that to the word. A great show, gentlemen. Great show. I love y'all platform. This is the best boxing channel on YouTube.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you for the compliment.
Salute to CK, man. Salute.
Shout out to CK. Thank you, buddy.
Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 386. 386, you're on the air. 386. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I had to, call my boys back and, explain a little better. So, yeah, I'm not going to, no offense, guys. I'll always be a fan of the show just because I love the people on here. I think you have BDA, I think you're great. I think Bucho, when he's off the booze, is a pretty good fella. A lot of good guys, but after I saw what they did to Loma, I'm probably not going to watch it. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer because I know, all the people on here are going to watch the fight. But I think it's an interesting fight, no doubt. I think if Teo comes in focused, he can, Taylor has to imply a lot of tie-him-up strategies. Remember when he fought Ramirez, he had to hold a lot, like a little holder boy, little pussy boy. And I wasn't a fan, even though he dropped him like twice. I think Teo's off the antidepressants, and he's, and his father, dude, if my father's in my corner tell me to knock somebody out and he's drunk, I'm fucking knocking the dude out. I think that's great coaching. You're
gonna knock out your dad, right?
I mean,
yeah,
listen,
my dad is fucking drunk and tell me to knock somebody out. They're fucking going.
Action Jackson's onto something. Why not? Yeah, I think Teofimo Lopez Sr. has to tell Junior.
Boy, Action Jackson, what's up?
He needs to tell him. He says, "Look, if you lose, we're going back to sleeping on the same bed. That's why he's light a fire under his ass and let him know.
You get the weakest side of the bed, okay? And have to go on the submissive side of the bed.
You get the wet spot.
Frank, if your dad says some shit like that to you, like and your dad's fucking fired up, and he's like, "Hey, Frank, if you don't knock this kid out," he said, "Why isn't he out of there? Like, what? You knock him out, right?"
That's right. That's why my father always used to tell me, "Go kick this guy's ass. Go kick this guy's ass." Now, yeah, okay, and I would do it. I would kick somebody's ass. Now, I was 23 and they were 7 years old in the park, but look, it is what it is. I got the job done.
Hey, wins the win.
Yeah, wins the win. That's what I'm saying.
Elaborate a little bit more because I really think. See, I don't know what happened to Lopez. I think he had a little bit of a mental breakdown, and mental health is real, guys, and everybody has to respect it. Okay. No, he's probably just a pussy. But I don't know what happened after the Kambosos fight. But if you lose to George Kambosos, that's not a good look. That's like me. I don't know. It'd be like me getting fucked up by some pussy. Like that'd be very embarrassing. But when Tio was on, when he fought Loma, he had a phenomenal. Who was his trainer? Joey Gamache. He had a phenomenal strategy. Jab, jab, jab. Go to the body. That's why I said he's going to knock Taylor out with a body shot. Because, like you said at BDA, Taylor does not have a signature win.
That was Jimmy who said that.
You could say Victor Postol. You could say. You don't have Bills.
That was Jimmy who said that, but yes, go ahead.
Well, I won't let you guys. Sorry, I don't want to be the fucking asshole.
All right, well, listen, Action Jackson, you made your point, you cleared it up, and yes, I mean, listen, your prediction is Lopez.
Dude, just put me on the panel, bro. I'm a great contributor. Actually, I don't even have time for it, but every once in a while, it's fun to call.
To be on, man. All right, well, listen, Action Jackson, we got to move on, man, but I got you down for Lopez, 9th round TKO, and in fact, you clarified and you said body shot. So that's something that could happen. So we'll keep an eye on that one.
Wait, two predictions. Either Tio stops him in the 8th, or Tio's dad throws the flag in.
All right, there you go. He throws the
Puerto Rican flag in.
And for the record, BDA, I said he has no dominant wins.
Right,
they were all signature wins because he won, but there was no dominant. Victory.
That's a good way of putting it, Jimmy. That's a good way of putting it, because I would say if you ask for like a marquee name, he's got Prograde, but that's not that was a fight. Yeah, that was a great fight. Even if
all his victories are like that. All his victories against all the big names, Ramirez, Postel. Well, Postel wasn't.
He's got Ramirez.
Never dominated anybody.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, fellas, we got to move on to the phone call. But Jackson, thank you for your call. Call back next time, right, man? Take it easy out there. Stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble. The best way to stay out of trouble, stay knee deep in pussy. That's what I always say. All right, take it easy out there, Jackson.
Well, that could get in trouble too.
Well, I mean, depends. Yeah, depends. If it's underage, of course, you're gonna get in trouble. All right, now
make your knees stink.
Yeah, there's a joke making the rounds. There's a joke making the rounds now on the internet. He goes, when her ass is at 10, but the problem is Sosa rage. It's like, come on, now wait a minute. I mean, that's disgusting, man. But that's the meme that's going around the internet now. All right, listen, let's go to another phone call here. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. Let's go to another phone call. Let's go to 214. 214, you're in the air. 214, what's on your mind?
Yeah. It's me, boxing learner. I called. I already gave my prediction. It was going to be a Taylor points decision. I wanted to also say that the guy who said that Teofimo knocking Taylor out with a body shot, I think that should be one of Tio's focus, because in that Ramirez fight, whenever Ramirez went to the body, Taylor didn't look too good, and he did a lot of clinching. And I remember he was saying that, I was just boxing, no, you were clinching. Like, if he can really, if Tio can really go to the body, intelligently, which that's why I don't think he's going to win, because I think he's not going to mix it up. He's going to keep doing the same thing. He thought the same thing with Sandor Martin, that, you know, the weakness was to the body, but he kept throwing the same punches, the same exact punch to the body. I think that that's why he's not going to be able to beat Taylor. That the body shots are there for him, and the head shots are there for him. But, you know, I think Taylor is just going to be too ferocious, because he's definitely going to, like I said before, Taylor's there to be hit, you know, but he's going to hit you back, and he's going to he's going to be able to rough you up. And I think that the clinch is going to be a big part of this fight. It's going to be a big part of this fight, because Teofimo doesn't really fight the clinch.
That's an excellent point right there. You know, we're all aficionados of body punching here, so hopefully we see some of that on Saturday. And it's never, it's always good if you want to make some investments in the ring, invest to the body. All right, well, listen, Boxing Learner, I got your prediction from the last time, so thank you for your call, and we'll catch you in the next one, right, man? Take it easy out there.
All right.
All right, now, before I guess I got to go to the latrine here, but shout out to High and Low Sports Zentrum for his contribution to Super Chat. He says, Teofimo Lopez, I will turn a tornado into a mountain breeze. Now, see, now he's turning biblical. He's really running the gamut of all these literary styles here. So shout out to High and Low Sports Zentrum. Who else was here? Hold on a second. This list is going by slow. Shout out to High and Low Sports Zentrum again. He's really into this fight. He says, BDA, remember this. If you lose, we sleep in the same bed again. June the 10th is coming. I mean, the stakes are high, man, for Teofimo Lopez Jr. and Sr. That's all I'm going to say about that. Listen, fellas, before I go to the latrine here, I'm looking at the poll. I'm looking at the poll that I started here. Here's what we've got so far. Taylor versus Lopez. Who wins this Saturday? Taylor, 60%. Lopez, 40%. People are starting to go late with Lopez, 60-40 fight so far. The poll is still up, fellas.
Almost a 50-50 fight, man.
Well,
you guys take over.
Well, you know what, Mr. BD? All right, you got to go tinkle. Okay, brother. Let it fly. But no, seriously, you know what I noticed? Like, we're not talking about. I haven't heard anybody talk about it on the panel yet, because it's been a while. But remember, after Taylor's last fight, before the Cartel fight, Cantel or whatever his name is, there was always the talking about 147, because he was having a hard Catterall, thank you, brother, having a real hard time getting to 140. In fact, isn't that the talk out of his camp, was the stress of his body of getting it down to 140, because it was talk that he wasn't going to run it back. He was going right to 147. So that doesn't get easier as you get older. It's just been so long since he's fought. That might be an issue too, because remember, it was an issue for him, according to his camp, 2 years ago, and going back over 2 years ago. And he's, like, again, he's not any younger. He's gotten 2 years older, and he's trying 140 again. He won't know until he's in there that night. Like, he might be able to make the 140 weight, shred it down, but he might not get his second win. That might affect him. If he was honest about how bad it was stressing him, right? If he was honest about that, then I can't see how it's going to be any better this time. Unless he hired a nutritionist and he took it off slow. But that just gets you in a bad mood, because then you're dieting for a lot longer. So
that could only get worse as time goes on. You're getting older, like you said. These guys, the weight that they carry is not bad weight. Let's take first and foremost, right? So when you see a guy like Devin Haney walks around at 160 pounds, that's not bad, 160. That's actually a toned athlete, 160 pounds.
Oh, yeah, they're losing muscle. They're eating muscle to get down to that weight, without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's gonna, with time, as your body gets bigger, and you're an athlete, right? And your body gets bigger in a good way. It's an athletic muscle, your muscles settling in and carrying
get denser.
Weight.
Your muscles get denser as you get older too. Yeah,
that's right. So that can only be a problem. So yeah, these are little intangibles that you got to take into considerations in the fight. Leading to the fight of what can happen.
It shouldn't be a problem for Lopez, right? Because Lopez is coming up from 135, where he already has but he's still getting acclimated at 140. At least he won't be like that was his problem. 135, he claimed he wasn't feeling as fresh anymore. So that shouldn't be an issue for him anymore. Whereas though for Taylor, the last two outings, there was big talk about him having a hard time getting down to 140. I just don't see how that could be any better.
I agree, obviously, because he's getting older. But I think also he stated that he was doing a lot of drinking. I think we heard. I mean, I heard it on the podcast that he cussed out some Chinese dude at a bar or something. He was drinking a lot. After garnering all those titles, he got a little bit too high on himself and went out drinking with his buddies too much, even Ben Davidson. So all that yeast too cannot be good for your body. So now that he's got it down to like where he's hired a nutritionist, maybe he's making the weight a little bit better. If not easier, a little bit better.
If you cut out the booze, that's huge. Alcohol is the most dense, calorie dense thing you can do. Yeah, alcohol is really terrible if you're an athlete, especially if you're a boxer. So if he's cut out the drinking, and it's a big part of the Scottish culture. They like to tip him,
I think that's an ugly stereotype. I think that's just something that people say.
That and stabbing. They're very good at stabbing people. Too.
Come on, now wait a minute. No, well, I saw Highlander. They're chopping each other's heads off in that movie.
Glasgow was the most capital for stabbing for years. Glasgow, Scotland. Yeah, no, highest knife crimes. I think London might have surpassed them recently, but yeah, they're known to stick you over there.
The reason, Jimmy, that I recognize PDA that I adjusted my prediction from Taylor winning by decision to him winning by a knockout, because I think Teofimo plays into Taylor's style, because he's a guy when we talk about the personality, all or nothing. I'm gonna say maybe he's a one-trick pony, a power puncher, like one shot type of take you out type of fighter. If he doesn't get the knockout, he's gonna try to go for broke and get the knockout. And when he doesn't, he's going to get pissed off at himself. And the more he's going to try, and the easier it's going to be for Taylor to counter him. See, nobody's going to leave it on the line. They're going to go for broke. And Teo's the guy that wears his emotions on the sleeve. When he fought Lomachenko, he was brazen. He wasn't afraid to lose. He was a young dude that was undefeated. He went for it. And sometimes not knowing your limitations helps you out, because you will go for it. But now that he's lost, he's probably a little bit more gun shy, and he's probably more self-conscious about losing. And when it's like in the later rounds, he's going to be like, it's all or nothing right now. I'm Teofimo Lopez. People say this about me. I'm going to go for it, because I got my livelihoods on the line with my wife's problems. I'm losing my son. I need to make money. So he's going to go for it with the one-punch type of knockout power that he displayed at 135. And at 140, it's going to be a little bit more dicier. And he's going to walk into one of Taylor's counters, I think. But not to say that Teofimo can't do it either. He can also win by knockout, but I'm just favoring Taylor.
Gonzalo, I dare say this fight might get a little spicy. A little bit too spicy for some people, but not spicy enough for me.
A little zesty.
A little zesty, absolutely, yes. By the way, shout out to High and Low Sports Zentrum for his contribution again. I think he's going to win Contributor of the Year at this point. He says June the 10th is coming. All right, there you go. Let me tell you something. If the fight's good, I might be coming myself. Then he has another contribution. He says, respect for the undisputed champion. I'm just saying. He says, respect for the undisputed champion of the world and respect for the risk taker. I mean, again, that's another thing there. That's a fact. Yep.
Hell of a load.
Hell of a load right there. Now, yeah, that's the other thing, though. This fight, shout out to High and Low Sports Zentrum, he's a risk taker. I mean, both guys are, some people are saying, who were speculating about whether Arum pitted these two guys together because he wants to get rid of one of them, cutting inventory or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, it's a very good fight. It's a very interesting fight, and shout out to both guys for taking it, because Teofimo Lopez could have gotten on his high horse the way he did in 2021 and say, you're not going to tell me who I fight and where and blah, 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 and he's taking the fight, so let's go with that. I got to tell you, though.
I'll put it too.
There you go, man. I got to tell you,
PDA, and especially I recognize when both guys have gone hurt before. I'm not saying they're chinny, but they've shown vulnerabilities when they get touched. I mean, they've been rocked rocked and hurt a little bit. And they both got power on both sides of the table. When it comes to trading punches, that counter punches style that they both have displayed in the past, that's a good matchup right there.
That can make you stronger, man. Tough fights, a loss here, there, maybe. That can only make you better. You know, as long as you don't lose, you're not losing your health, you're not losing your spirit. Maybe the two go together, but as long as you're like, man, I want to get back in there and do this shit again. Those type of mistakes can only make you a better fighter.
I mean, they should, right? I mean, depending on the fighter and the character.
Because it's not like you become smarter. You know, you already put in the work with the skills and your movements and all that stuff. You know, then it becomes like, okay, when do I do this and when not to do it? You know, when all these things start with losses. This is why the sport is not as exceptional as it could be. It's because these dudes are afraid to fight each other, and so I give credit to Teofimo taking a pretty big risk in fighting Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor too. I give him credit too, because he probably having issues making that weight, and he might be giving some advantages away.
I agree, recognize, and you know what? Like, actually, for Teal, going 12 rounds with Lomachenko and winning that fight helped his experience. Going against a fleet-footed dude like Sandor Martin, that's probably got a good chin too, although he's not a puncher. He's difficult to pin down, so obviously going 12 rounds with that dude also helps you out. And Taylor not having that definitive win at 140, although he was undisputed, and a lot of times going to 12 rounds where iron sharpens iron, like Jimmy likes to say, that also helps you out. So they've garnered experience. Like, these two fighters, they're bringing experience, whether we like to admit that on Teofimo's behalf. He gained experience with the Sandor Martin fight in particular as well.
Yeah, that loss against Kambosos did show, like you said, it showed that he's got panache. He's got some tenacity to him, and you can't buy that. He didn't want to lose that undefeated record, didn't want to lose his titles. He fought like hell to get him. Technically, he was an awful performance that he should have really corrected way beforehand. But then again, they came out with the reason was that he had a hole in his esophagus or whatever. So it is what it is, and we'll see what happens this Saturday. But I gotta tell you, earlier we were talking about how Crawford versus Spence. Like, I'm not terribly excited for it right now. I'm pretty sure on fight week maybe, but right now it's like, if it gets canceled now, I wouldn't bite an eyelash. But I'll say this though. An eyelid. What did I say, eyelash? What the fuck? Here's the thing.
Something like that.
Yeah, no, come on. The point is this, Bob Arum was on the 3 knockdown rule, and this news really went viral on Twitter. Unlikely.
He can still talk?
Bob Arum, yeah, sure. I mean, he's never going to shut up until they're going to have to bury him 6 feet under before you can't hear him anymore. But the point is, they broke the news. I mean, he said Beterbiev Bivol unlikely to happen this year, partially because, or largely in part, because of the WBC rule that's going up against Russia right now. They're forbidding any Russians from participating in their championship events. Fellas, I got to tell you, man, depending on how Beterbiev looks, he's going to be 39 next January. I don't know if I'm excited. That the more time passes by, the less I'm excited for a Beterbiev Bivol fight. What do you guys think?
Yep. Well, look, I'm still excited. I mean, Beterbiev is just that dude's a fucking monster. I would pick Beterbiev to beat Bivol right now. If the fight was let's say this Saturday, the fight was to happen, I would pick Beterbiev. But of course, as time goes by, how can you not favor a guy like Bivol? Just because me personally, I feel Beterbiev will win. That doesn't mean that if Bivol went in there and actually beat him, I'm going to be like fucking, shell shock and shit. I'm going to be like, oh, what the fuck? No, it'll make sense to me if he won as well. So, yeah, the fight is a 50 fight, in my opinion, now. The more time goes by, I don't care how great of shape you're in. Father time, like they like to say, I don't want to use a cliche too much that's been used way too many times. But Father Time is undefeated. It is. You do get older, and you just never know when you don't react the same way to a punch or somebody's movement. And you're like, man, I'm a little winded compared to the, like my last fight. Let's just say.
Mm-hmm. What does anybody else think about that?
I had no delusions in that fight was going to take place. Bob doesn't want that fight. He's made that clear. He's been making excuses for quite a while about it. I think Beterbiev wouldn't have any problem fighting him, but for whatever reason, Bob has just been poo-pooing that fight from the rip. Before it was because Bivol was a nobody. He had nobody following him. Nobody knows who he is. He's a boring fighter. It went from I believe at first it was he was a boring fighter. Then it was nobody knows who he is. Now it's because of the Russian war. And he's just basically saying, I know people putting that on Bob, like, well, Bob's saying he's not going to do it because of the Russian war. No, he's explaining that the WBC isn't going to sanction a fight with the Russian fighters, which is just, I can't even begin to say the level of fucking disgust I am with that. The fact that, just the WBC interjecting itself on behalf of politics. Bivol, I believe he has a residency here in the United States. And the thing is, Beterbiev is Russian too. He's just as Russian as Bivol is, just because he's got his Canadian citizenship. No, I don't even know if he's got his Canadian citizenship. I know he lives there. But just because his permanent address now is in Canada, like I can't even it's so fucking stupid. I can't wrap my head around it that he would do this. It's just nuts. Virtue signaling like he's go for a high DEI score. You know what I mean? It's just nuts.
Bob Arum says he supports the WBC, by the way, in their decision. So, I mean, he's listen, I don't want to get too political.
Bob's always fucking gone down that fucking garbage woke road. Just look at the stupid shit he says all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And then you look at the direction ESPN is taking him in, too, and he doesn't seem to mind it all that much. So there is that to consider right there. But yeah, man, listen, Bivol Beterbiev was one of the best fights to make, one of the most interesting ones. But again, with each month that passes, Beterbiev gets older and older. And speed is primordial in a fight against a guy like Bivol, who's so quick and so dynamic. So I don't know what's going to happen with that one.
Every month that goes by, it hurts Beterbiev.
That's right. That's right. And on top of that, Bob Arum's like, well, we still got a fantastic fight between Callum Smith and Beterbiev. It's like, yeah, it's not a bad fight, but come on, man. That's not the fight to make at 175. He knows it. The rest of the boxing world knows it.
Even if Beterbiev hasn't been in a lot of wars, he's still getting older, and he likes to train hard with like the training of the forearms and the flipping the weights to strengthen the fingers and the hands and like like I said, the forearms. All that stuff, when you get older, I mean, the joints, and especially like, dude, even if you haven't taken a beating, like for example, like I'm in my 40s. When I have to get up off the couch, I think about it a little too much. It costs me a little bit more.
Wait a minute, no, that's not true.
What I'm basically saying, when you have to pull the trigger sometimes, and you got all that muscle, it's gonna take you a little second longer to fucking get going. Even though when you're in real time, you're like, I'm gonna string my punches together and like fucking be fast and utilize timing, because timing will beat speed sometimes. When a guy's so quick on the trigger like Bivol, he's gonna be more active and he's gonna find the point where you're not throwing punches to land that will. And with that time, when it's Bivol's Beterbiev's turn to throw, it's just a little bit slower on the trigger, man. That happened to Golovkin. We know he's a power puncher.
Gonzalo, I get what you're saying, but I gotta say, I guess I'm the exception because I'm buff, ripped, and tight, and I get up that crotch like it's not with his business. So I guess but I guess other people, normal people, it must be a little bit, at 40 years old, it's true they might be getting a little older.
But just the hair trigger slower makes a lot of a difference, right?
Absolutely, all that steroids you take,
I was just curious. Does Bob have any fucking Russian fighters under contract? He mustn't saying stupid shit like that. Then imagine having your promoter. I backed the WBC and not wanting to sanction any Russian fighters.
Well, he's got Beterbiev, right?
Asshole.
But he's got Beterbiev. He's Russian.
But
What
but WBC already sanctioned one of his fights. They just did his last fight. He fought. That was a WBC sanction.
Wait a minute. So now I'm confused. Then.
Is no longer Russian.
Yeah, that's why I'm confused. And so they're going with the Canadian residents. Then is that what I would assume?
People that don't have there's no real standards, man. These people are just like they're emotional wreck jobs. That's all they are, man.
Plus, he calls himself a Chechenian too. I bet, or something.
Well,
he's a Muslim from Chechnya, so he's an ethnic Chechenian.
Jimmy, let me tell you, if Beterbiev is trying to get Canadian citizenship, I might have to make a couple of calls then, because I'm monitoring real closely who gets in and out of my country. I'll tell you that much right now. Now, I will say this: when it comes to, I'm kidding, of course. But when I'll say this though, Gonzalo brought up a good point, Jimmy, about the muscle. I mean, he's a very muscle-bound guy. At his age, 40 years old, should he be? I don't know what his training is insane. By the way, he's renowned for being the hardest worker in the gym over there in his gym.
And that might give him longevity. BDA. I was going to say real quick. I don't mean to interrupt. The way he works out, I've seen him too, man. It's just you could pick up pointers. That's for sure.
It's fucking badass.
That might give him some longevity. Exactly, Gonzalo. Like it's inspiring the way he works out. I would say, I will say this: those workouts. Look, man, I don't. But Beterbiev is he's an exceptional human being. Whenever you make it this far in any profession, his happens to be physical, so he's more likely the exception to the rule. That's the reason why I think he's, in my opinion. I think he's one of the best fighters out there right now. He's like clearly, at least in my opinion, one of the best pound for pound fighters. It's because he's got skills and this work ethic, and it's going to be sad if they make this fight happen 2 years from now. Not saying that he can't still be really good at that point, but the likelihood of that happening, of him being in his early 40s, and that he's going to be still at the level he's at right now. Not saying that it's impossible, but don't be shocked if he's not. I mean, because history tells us usually guys that age start to fall down.
And you can already see the difference if you go back a few fights. He's not as quick as he was. He just isn't. That's just the long and short of it because of his age. Yeah. Another thing, the reason why he only has, I believe, 17 fights is because he was injured all the time. White tissue injuries too, which only get exacerbated by heavy workouts and intense workouts. So
his heavy workouts, it's mental, Jimmy. You know this. You worked out hard. Like sometimes you understand when you start reaching, like you ever worked out more than 7 days straight, and you're like in the middle of a workout, and you're like, I don't have it today. Maybe you should
many times I've just felt like flat,
and you should be listening to yourself, but you push through and you complete the routine that you set in your head, because everybody has a plan, right? When they work out, he's that type of person, right? He could go on the 10th day straight working out, and in that in the middle of that working out, he could be like, "Yo, I don't got it, not today," and he'll keep going. That causes injuries.
Yeah, even if I didn't because I never worked out like 7 days in a row. I never went more. I would go 3 days on, 1 day off, or 4 days on, 1 day off. I would never, because you need time for your body to recoup. But even then, there was times like I'd be in the middle of legs and I'm like, all right, I just stop. I'm going to start. I mean, this is useless. Because I didn't eat right the day before and I just wasn't getting a pump, and I could tell. But after a while, you just know your body. The point.
That's actually a good
I'm not going to just
because you're listening. You're listening to your body because you're on the verge. You're on the verge of hurting yourself. I believe, and I'm speaking from some experience, because there were days where I took that 1 day off and I didn't feel right. I'm like, man, I just don't feel right taking a day off. But I realized with time that I needed to, right? And I just think that
especially if you're not taking steroids, yeah. If you're not taking steroids, right, you take at least a day off, sometimes two.
Right, exactly.
You can still do cardio, you can still do abs on a day off. I'm just talking about lifting weights. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I just think that I'm not saying so much the weights. I think he completes routines. He sets routines, and therefore X amount of hours, whatever he sets, he tries to complete all of them all the time, which is fine because that builds stamina, that builds character and all that stuff. But I also think that on days where he doesn't have it, where his body's telling him, yo, we need to chill, he pushes through, which causes injuries. It just does.
And he's a gym rat too. He's a gym rat because he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke. The only three things important to him in his life: God, his family, and boxing. And that's what he said. I've heard him say in an interview. The only thing that matters to him.
That's two.
So he has no social life. He doesn't go out. He doesn't drink. Doesn't party.
Yeah,
he's an excellent role model. That's his life.
I think resting would be more beneficial than sometimes training, like Pacquiao alluded to. Work smarter, not harder. You got to change the way you train.
Yeah, you got to listen to your body as you get older. Yep.
Yeah, but at the world caliber level, when guys are still pushing as hard as they can, and you slipped a little bit, hey, you might have the experience on your side, but hey, man, the other guy ain't slowing down for you.
That's right.
And the thing is, he doesn't need as much muscle as he puts on to knock people out. He's got natural, you know what I mean? Sorry for the terminology, but retard strength. You know what I mean? He's just got that fucking, you know what I mean? Crazy strength. Everybody who's ever spars him said it's shocking how strong he is. But you just look at his joints, look at his neck. You know what I mean? You can tell he'd be a power lifter if he was.
By the way, let me correct Jimmy. Jimmy said WE, and TAR, TAR, right? So
that's right. That's right. You gotta put a little white out on that one. But hey,
Jimmy, you spoke about it. You spoke about it earlier about the elbow separating the body. When he caught Joe Smith Jr. with that uppercut, he was short. The whole body and the legs behind it compact. When that fight, when he kind of looked like shit about 3 fights ago, when he was throwing these arm punches, he looked a little slow and lethargic. Because maybe it's all that muscle thrown from kind of far away to the arms, it's slower. But when you compact, he looked against Joe Smith Jr., he looked like $1 million. But sometimes he might be off from now on.
But that's the thing, though, about that's the thing about. Let me just say this. Let me just recognize because I gotta get to a phone call too later. But he fucking Beterbiev, he looks okay in some fights, and then he looks 100% hot in other fights. It's insane. I think he's
that's what I was gonna say. He smoked Joe Smith. So I mean, I'm not shocked he beat Smith. He smoked him. Joe Smith is he's a beast. The guy's a beast, man.
He's a tough kid.
He smoked him.
Yeah, Smith has lost before, but he's never got knocked out.
Dude,
I think
Jimmy, he smoked him. He smoked him. He went in there and got rid of him 2 rounds. You know?
Yeah, he got hit by lightning. Just fucking fell down. But it was from down under, the uppercut. Boom.
Yeah. He went out there and he knew he couldn't beat him boxing. So he went out there and he blew his load early. He figured, I'm going to fucking put it on him. And you can be told about somebody's power, but until you actually feel it.
Yeah, no, he tried.
Smith said after in a post conference, he was like, it's crazy hard.
He did what he had to. He didn't have a choice. Yeah, he didn't have a choice. He had to go get it. Real quick, let's go to a phone call here. The phone lines are almost closed. 416, you're on the air. 416, what's on your mind?
Yeah, so I have a couple of Eastern European friends, and we talk about boxing and shit, but sometimes we talk about history. And
is that right?
They told me something that was really interesting. So Artur Beterbiev is Chechen, and what they kind of told me about these Chechens are that historically, when Russians would go to war, they would specifically get Chechens on the front line. I'm talking about not fucking machine gun war shit. This is bows, arrows, and fucking swords and shit. Back in that time, that's when these fuckers will gladiator shit. Like literally fucking have to cut each other's heads off. So these Russians, they would breed these fucking warriors, and the whole Chechen class or caste of individuals, majority of them, they're bred from a different breed. So moving down the line now to the current age, it's like, yes, but Arthur Beterbiev is much older. He's 40. Yeah. He's susceptible to injury. Yeah, that's with age. But there's the psychological proponent. There's something that's inbred in his genetics through history. What if this guy fucking gets in the ring and he gets his head cut open with like a 2-inch cut, he's gonna bleed through that shit and still mangle your ass. Like that's that breed of that mental propensity of like you are not an opponent to me. I shall fucking kill you.
Well, I mean, you know what? I got to tell you, that's a little harsh. I don't know if I appreciate that, but I mean, hey, that's the way they got to do it. Why not? Go ahead, Jimmy. What
I'm not talking. No. It's not
I'm
me,
kidding.
man.
I'm
I'm not
kidding.
saying
Just
like,
busting stones, bro.
Yeah.
Oh no, BDA.
Say what?
Yeah, but no, I was going to say what I was going to say. What the caller was saying, they're doing that now. They've been doing that in Ukraine. Like the Ukrainians know when there's a Chechen, they're mercenaries. They're not actual part of the Russian army. They're a mercenary army. But no, the Chechen death squads. It's always even amongst ISIS. The most feared ISIS fighters was the Chechen ISIS. But the problem with Russia, when they go to war, half the time the Chechens join whoever is fighting Russia because they historically don't want to be under Russian control. They've been fighting it since although fucking Georgian, Stalin was a Georgian, but yeah, so yeah, the Chechens are historically, they're a warrior type people. They live out in the middle of the fucking mountains. They're tough people.
Well, there you go, caller.
Yeah. So it's that mental breed of like, you know what? It's just like you just get, and then it boils down to now just your regular in the square fucking pugilism, right? You have this one guy, this singular Chechen, and you take everyone across his weight class. I think Dmitry Bivol is like really fucking talented. He's talented as a boxer, super talented, but he gets hit. If he gets hit a couple of times by fucking Arthur, it's a different being hit by him versus like a Canelo Alvarez. Like fucking Bevel's like, yeah, he's a Mack truck, man. He's a fucking Mack truck.
Well, there you go, caller. Well, listen, man, we got to move on to another phone call here before the phone lines close. But thank you for your call and call back next time, right, man?
Peace.
Take it easy out there.
Take it easy.
Let's go to 510 here. 510, you're in the air. 510.
90 seconds. Hey, what's up, you guys? I had to call back because I actually want to ask Gonzalo a question. But interesting talking about Beterbiev. Yeah, that's why I respect the guy so much. Just like that part of the world, those motherfuckers are on a different level when it comes to, a lot of people want to say like, oh, they're different. No, those guys are actually different because, yeah, the Russians, even to this day, they use those guys as shock troops, essentially. And there was like, during the Russian invasion in Ukraine, they actually used the whole column. And apparently there's a lot of crossing reports, right? But a lot of them got decimated. But if those guys would have crossed those cities without any help, when, because obviously NATO's helping out the Ukrainians over there, man, it would have been pretty bad for them. But yeah, Gonzalo, is he there?
Gonzalo, the caller's got a question for you.
Yeah, what's up, man? What's up, Mr. Booty Juice?
Hey, good question, bro. What's up, Mr. Hey, good question. I seen you hit the bag, man, and like you got a lot of pop on your hooks. I forget which video it was, but like, can you give me some tips on like how you get that power? Because like it seems like you were hitting it like extremely hard, but you were like almost cutting through the bag. So I was just wondering if you had some pointers, like how to hit the bag.
Just turn in with your hits. You got to get your throw your shoulder into it. Punch through the target. Bend the knees a little bit.
Exactly. Booty Juice, do you play baseball?
No, I've only done boxing.
Okay,
That's about it.
all right. Well, it's just spin it like what Gonzalo just said. Put your hips into it. Hold your elbow to your body as long as you can until you're parallel with the bag, and then snap it. Turn your punches over too, and just punch through the bag. Don't try to punch and stop at the bag. But don't let it knock you off balance. If you feel your weight going through it after, you're off balance. Try to keep your weight on balance and practice your form before you worry about, putting your hand through the bag, and it'll come.
You got to, the scapula, that shoulder blade muscle in the back. A lot of people, when they see the back, they just want to touch it. And no, what you really got to do is you got to unlock the scapula. That shoulder blade on the back, you got to throw it and you got to pop it forward. Actually turn into it. So when you hit the back, just make that motion like you're actually punching through the bag, not just stopping at the bag. So when you shadow box, unlock the scapula. When you flip the shot over, make sure that shoulder blade on the back turns over. You're gonna feel it. Would you get that little spring in the punch?
Okay.
You know, it's a workout that will really make your legs strong, and it makes your back and your legs strong. You know how you deadlift? You take some weights, something that you're comfortable with. You take it, you pick up the weight to the middle of your thighs. You go back down with it, but your back straight. Your back straight. You take it. You take the weights down and pick it back up. The same, in that same motion. I wish I could show it to you. It's like deadlifting, but you're doing it multiple times. So obviously, you're not going to deadlift your max. You're going to take something you're comfortable with, and that'll build your legs, and that'll build your back. The back is so important too, man.
Yeah. And do you shadow box at all?
Yeah, I still do, and I still have. Yeah, mainly,
that's
I don't really have a lot of time during the day.
Get in front of a mirror. Well, get in front of a mirror and practice shadow boxing. Watch your form and turn your punches over like you're pouring a gallon of milk. Over exaggerated. Ever watch before a fighter comes out when they have the camera in the locker room and they'll show the fighter punching at the fucking camera and they do it in slow motion and you watch the thumb slide way under, like the thumb goes way under the forearm, because when they're doing that, they're practicing turning. Because you turn your hand over so much, it becomes such second nature, you don't have to ever think about it when you're throwing your punch. But that's so key, not to throw a hammer punch. The less of a hammer punch you throw, the harder your punch will be and the less damage you'll do to your hand. I'm done.
Well, there you go, caller, Mr. Booty Juice. Hopefully that helped you out. We got to move on, but thank you for your call and call back next time, right, man? Take it easy out there.
Yeah, cool, man. Thanks. Yeah, take it easy. All right. Yep.
There you go. A lot of good pointers from the panelists there, man. Well, let me tell you something. We got to move on here. We got to go. But I will say this. First of all, hold on. Shout out to Aaron Kuko for his contribution to the Super Chat. He says, Taylor may not have a dominant win, but his run to undisputed at 140 is iconic. Davis, Martin, Baranchik, Prograis, Postal, Ramirez, legendary. Yeah, man. I mean, he fought, like I said, if you combine all those records, more than half those guys are undefeated. And he went to war with them. He didn't back away. He didn't fight with the American slick style, a.k.a. the ass style. So shout out to Josh Taylor, and we'll see what happens this Saturday. I will say this, though. You guys were talking about giving good old Booty Juice some a workout, some pointers for his workout. Arturo Gatti might not have been the best fighter out there, the most technical, but if you watch how he hit the bag, because one thing he did very well was punch hard. This motherfucker could swing. Look at how he's swinging when he goes on the heavy bag. Or even when he's shadow boxing like here. But see how he's... Well, let's see when he goes to the... Look at that. See that? He's punching through the target. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's very good form. Again, Arturo Gatti, you don't want to take too many defensive pointers from him, but when he came to punching power, that's what he did very well. And
he could box. That was the thing about him too. There was moments in his career where he showed he wanted to. He could box. It's just that you see that form. He knew if he dropped that punch on you, that's what makes a fighter. Sometimes you could be a little. It's against your best interest, but he was interested in knocking dudes out because this is what he practiced, man.
Now,
Yeah,
this
that's
is
what
one of
he
my.
practiced to do, is to get in there and knock your head off.
This is one of
I
my
mean,
favorite
that's the
clips.
reason. Yep.
But go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to cut you off. Finish what you were saying.
I was going to say, this is one of my favorite clips. Again, another guy related to Arturo Gatti was Mickey Ward. Check out the left hook to the body here. This is post-retirement, 50 years of age at least. I don't know if I can make this bigger. How do I make this screen bigger? Whatever. Check out the left hook to the body, man. On the bag, post-retirement.
The left glove only. See that left hook to the body. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Beautiful. Every time he throws
Saw that punch in my nightmares. Fucking asshole.
He jumps the average up quick, right? Oh yeah. Jesus.
I mean, look at that pocket. I mean, he's digging into. You can just tell he's digging right on the liver. If you imagine there's a liver on that bag, he must have practiced that 1,000 times.
That's a human body. It doesn't matter how big you are, you're gonna fucking go down.
He had the most body knockouts at 140 for a while, I think, because even in his early career, man, a lot of his knockouts were the body shots. He would take guys out in body shots in like second and third round too, and like they couldn't get up because that was the punch. Because he knew he was never going to beat anybody with his foot speed. You know, he was a good athlete, but a white athlete. He was just, didn't have a ton of rhythm. Although he wasn't completely, didn't have, he had some rhythm, but it just wasn't that wasn't his specialty. So he went for the body punch. And plus Mickey's that dude, like if there's a room full of fighters, he's not going to go sit with the fucking today's fighters. No fucking way. He's going to go to across the room where there's all the guys who were 80 and 75 who were world champions in the 50s and 60s. And sit with them and just listen to every word they say. He was like that since he was a little kid. The guys he grew up with, that's what they always said. I have a video of Ouchie McGinnis, the guy I used to train. He was actually Dickie's first trainer too. We'll watch it after the thing. I'll post it. It might be too long for Discord, but somebody sent it to me the other day.
Depends on the quality, but yeah, man. Because I mean, even when he would lose, he would still hurt people to the body. Like when he fought Zab Judah, hurt him to the body. What's the other guy? Antonio Diaz. Even in the third Gatti fight, he still hurt him to the body at some point. So, I mean, yeah, that body shot was killer. Absolutely killer.
Yeah.
And that's why
Zab Judah said that most he was ever hurt to the body. He said, it's crazy.
Thank you for using blog talk.
And it's so quick, too. He just gets you.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. It's that his skills might not have been world class, and he might not have had world class footwork, but that left hook was world class. It was like a Chavez left hook.
Yep.
It was a Chavez.
If it wasn't for the cough breaking his hand, he would have been in the Hall of Fame. No doubt about it.
I mean,
that took us 6 years out of his prime, from 26 to 32.
That's insane.
Well, yeah, 27 to 33. His prime years, his hand would break every time he threw a right hand. It would just shatter. But he never quit. Stayed into the final bell with a broken hand, losing every round, but he didn't give a fuck. He wasn't going to take the TKO.
So yeah, that there you go, man. For Mr. Booty Juice and anybody else, you want to throw like the best. Watch the best. Watch when they train. Watch how they throw that hook to the body, that right. Straight right, the jab, and like Jimmy said, it's also, hey, fucking look at yourself. Shadowboxing. They used to call it shadowboxing for a reason, because you're looking at your shadow. You're supposed to watch your form when you're doing it. But you know what? I've heard so many people tell me they don't like shadowboxing. They just want to go straight to the mitts or sparring.
Yeah. They're terrible boxers. Seriously, they're terrible. Anybody tells you that, they were never good. Shadowboxing is so important.
Mm-hmm.
So important. If I train a kid, he's spending at least fucking 15 minutes shadowboxing before he does anything, because I want him to be loose. And that's why when he's shadowboxing, I can see more from somebody shadowboxing. Just everything, how they hold their feet, everything. Because what are you going to do? Stare them when they're hitting the speed bag or punching the heavy bag? No, when they're just shadowboxing, moving around. You can see if they're dragging a foot. You can see if they're fucking tending to move off the wrong, like if they're throwing a punch from the wrong angle, or not throwing a punch with all the weights positioned right. You can see so much from somebody when they're shadow boxing.
Exactly.
Yep, that's so. You always knew when a guy wasn't really a boxer when you asked them. You know, you're talking boxing, and let's say you're at a gym, so there's a heavy bag, and you could also shadow box. You be like, all right, show me what you got. And they start hitting the bag. You're like, no, I meant show me what you got. Shadow box. And they're like, oh, yeah. But a guy who boxes,
right?
He knows exactly what you're talking about. You know, you show me what you got. It's about shadow boxing.
And I never want to see somebody like who's got somebody who holds pads for him all the time. Half the time, the guy holding the pads is working just as hard.
Yeah.
Right. Seriously, it's choreographed mitt dancing.
Well, that's why I see on Twitter whenever I go there, there's always this chick with a tight pants and a big ass, and she's doing this Floyd Mayweather senior drills, shoulder roll, just tapping and go. I'm pretty sure it's got to work for something, right? I mean, it's working the reflexes, it is working the shoulders, but how about punching?
No, reflexes. What do they call reflexes? Reflexes are part when it's reflective, when you're not expecting it. Somebody throws something at you, you duck your head. That's good reflexes. If you've choreographed it, okay, I'm coming over. Okay, 1, 2, 3, I'm coming over. You're not doing reflexes. You just body's responding to the same stimuli. A reflex is when you don't tell them that you're doing it. So when you see them doing that, and the guy's coming over the top of her, it's because they practiced it, and she knows that's when it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is at the beginning it could work. It does work, actually. I'm not going to say it could. It does work, the reflex at first, but like then again, you said, you're right. Afterwards, then it's... Because it's like with every type of workout, you're supposed to shock the body and the senses. And if it gets repetitive, you're no longer working... my point is this. Even if it does work, which it does, but at some point you're just stringing together these insane combinations where you're not even punching through the target. It's like you're not going to fight a guy and throw 50 pity pads and then shoulder roll and then come back with another 50 punches, unless you're Joe Calzaghe, which is 1 in a million. That shit ain't going to work. By the way, shout out to Gonzalo for his contribution super chat. He says, Mr. Booty Juice, unlock your scapula when you release a punch during shadow boxing. Indeed, that's what Gonzalo had said, told the Mr. Booty Juice on the phone call as well.
Shut up.
There you go. Shout out to you, Gonzalo. Thank you for your contribution, man. Really appreciate it. Is Gonzalo still there? Yeah, he's still there. What the fuck? All right.
But
hey, Mr. BDA.
Those punch sticks are awesome too.
Hey, Mr. BDA.
I've really become a big fan of those.
Hey, Mr. BDA.
Go ahead, Jimmy. Yes.
No, that's somebody else, brother.
Hey, Mr. BDA.
Hey, what's up, Mr. BDA?
No, that's Gonzalo.
Yeah, that's my recording of Gonzalo right there, man.
Oh, sorry, dude. I thought it was somebody else. Oh, what an idiot. I fell for it. Yeah, no, there's like, watch Bomac work with fucking Crawford. He's really good with those punch sticks. He smacks Crawford in the head, and he's going to the body.
Man, let me just fucking
speak! Sorry about that. Yeah, Bomac is a good mid guy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, with the sticks too. He hits, does real good stick work. Those punch sticks. Poof, poof, poof. He catches Crawford's got good reflex. He smacks him good with those. Those are good to practice catching and swinging. You know what I mean? Although he caught Bomac with a belly shot the other day, put him down. It's pretty funny. Bomac, who's the count? They started counting on him. Yeah, I got him with a little bit of a slip shot to the gut.
You remember, you guys probably remember him. What was his name again? Dorticos. The guy from... Right, he was in cruiserweight. He was in the cruiserweight tournament. The Cuban cruiserweight, right? Absolutely.
Yeah,
now, he was a wiry guy, loved to fight on the inside. Now, you guys want to talk about big puncher. I remember this clip from 2018. Check this out.
And Dorticos almost killed his own trainer.
I mean, what the fuck's he doing? He doesn't know how to aim? This fucking asshole.
What is he punch him in the chest? He goes down, or is he hitting him in the jaw?
He hit him in the jaw. Look at this. Let's watch in slow motion. Hold on. He goes to the body with the right, then a left hook upstairs. Completely missed. I mean, well, the trainer didn't even put the pad up, the mitt. Look at this.
That's crazy.
Boom.
That dude hits
Right
very
there.
hard too. Like 80% KO ratio. Mr.
And he sat
Knockout, what
down
do they
on
call
the
him?
punch.
Dorticos.
Yeah,
Oh, I'd
Dorticos.
be pissed.
And he sat down on the punch. Look
Hey,
at that. Boom.
BD, I always had something like to say about taller, like heavyweights having like smaller dudes hold the mitts for them. They should hire like taller guys.
Well,
That's true,
the
yeah.
dude doesn't even have mitts, Gonzalo. It looks like he just has a punch vest on. So it's like, how do you fuck that up? Like, how do you fucking, like, seriously, like, are you brain dead? Like, that's fucking stupid.
I mean,
I'd be pissed.
I'd be pissed too. I was like, what the fuck you doing, man? I don't know, man. It's fucking weird.
You're a professional fighter.
Well, you would think.
You know what I mean?
You think he did that on purpose? You think he did that on purpose, or?
The only thing I can think is the fucking headgear slid into his eyes. But you're a professional fighter, man. You know how high those punches should be going. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. That's so amateur-like. That's something you'd see in a kid who's been in the gym for a few weeks. Catches a trainer on the jaw. Like, he just fucking caught that dude right in the mush. Like, that was a fuck-up. That wasn't like he meant to punch the chest. He, like, really went for the head. He was just not thinking.
It's all that resentment, all that buildup, all that grudge that he got for all those years of taking the abuse.
Gonzalo, you think the guy made him? You think the guy made him run an extra mile that morning? Maybe that's who was pissed off. It's like, I'll give you an extra mile. Boom, right on the chin.
Now, is that his trainer, or is that just somebody working with him?
That's a good question. I don't know. But it might explain why this motherfucker never didn't win the
because I wouldn't buy that's an accident. I personally, if that was me, he just fucking smoked in the gym like that, I'd be like, dude, what's up? That you ain't gonna tell me that's an accident. He just fucking smoked the dude.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a weird clip right there, man. I don't know what to make of it. But
I mean, put it this way: think about if that was even remotely, if that happened a lot, you would see a lot of videos on that.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've seen that in the gym myself a couple of times, but that, like you said, beginners, and it's not that hard. It's just they fucking missed the mark with the mitt. But this dude, I mean, again, if you're practicing combos, you should know. Yeah, or maybe the trainer fucked up. I don't know. But even then, it's a two-way clip.
But how did the trainer? He was full height. The trainer was at full height, and he doesn't have punch gloves on. It's just. Wow, and then I don't even like the way he responded to it. Like he didn't run over, go like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry." Like, you know what I'm saying? The other guy ran to him before he did. That's what makes it seem like he almost had something against the dude. He was giving him a little fucking sting in him.
Yeah. Andy Ruiz caught that one dude, Estrellita, Manny Robles' helper.
Yeah,
or second guy, second in command, dude, with the grading shot. But still,
but remember his response. Remember how fucking sorry he was. I think I saw that video, and he was like real fucking like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry," like real apologetic. It looks like this dude. I don't know. Is it me? It doesn't look like he's not even fucking. He seemed like he was overly quick to go to him. The minute he made contact, he should have been going, "Shit, I'm sorry."
Let's watch it in super slow mo. Boom, he hits him, and then he tries to pick him up or hold him. I don't know. I gotta say too, the bald guy.
Look at the way he's walking to him, like, it happened.
Jimmy, I'm gonna blame the guy with the bald guy too. He's acting like a bitch. In my day, you dust yourself off, you walk it off. That's what you do.
I think he was out cold, dude. Look at the way he fell. That dude's legs are out.
Well, look at his chin.
His knees are straight. Ready?
Yeah, look at that. He's stiff. Yeah,
look at his legs are straight. He's out cold.
Now, if you look at his chin too, look at that. His chin, like Chief always says, chin meets shoulder. Look at that. That's the brain getting shaken up, and that's he's like you said, his legs stiffened and then
right down. Yep, his lights went out. Like got shot in the head. boom. You can see the way the weight falls first. The first split second, it's your fucking torso weight just suddenly slinks, and then your legs go down like a tree. So that's what it looks like most of the time. People get shot in the head.
Yeah, imagine he would have fractured his jaw or something. I mean, I don't know. That's a little weird right there.
That dude is very hard. I think he just his mind went to a different place right there. He just thought that he was not in an actual fight, but he just had a little bit of PTSD.
I mean, if you want to call it that, but listen, after watching that, if I'm a trainer, I'm not working with that guy. Even if I need the money, whatever, it's like, come on, man. You don't know if this guy's nuts. You don't know if he's doing it on purpose. I mean, nah. Anyway. Sorry, I was crushing some. I was biting some ice.
That's what happens when you mess with BDA. BDA knocks you out.
Nah, I would never do that to a trainer. I would never do that to. No. That's. I mean, only to people that deserve it. And there's very few of those around my corner. We got a nice neighborhood here. People, we cleaned it out. Let me tell you. And we got rid of a lot of undesirables. And people tell me thanks a lot. You know, like I said,
maybe he whispered his fucking what's his name's cousin, the guy from the Cuban dictator or something.
Yeah, maybe, man. I mean, I don't
maybe
know.
he said, you know, your wife is kind of hot.
Oh,
what was his name? Yeah, what was his name? That dictator, he just died too, didn't he? That freak.
That dictator, which one?
The beard, the guy from fucking Cuba, the Cuban dictator.
Castro.
Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart.
Castro,
yes, Castro. Holy shit.
He died a while back.
Because he's from Cuba. That dude.
You realize Fidel Castro was a big motherfucker too?
Is that right?
Oh yeah,
how tall was he?
He was a boxer too. Huge boxing fan. Huge boxing fan.
He was a BDA. He was a big dude, man. He's a guy that kind of like he held weight. He had weight on him, and he looked like he could, you know, if he had to, and knock a motherfucker out.
Well, that's what.
He was a baseball player and boxer. Sorry, BDA. Go.
No, I was just gonna say, Don Francisco said that too. Like he said he fought alongside Castro. He said that he was a very big man. I go, really? Interesting. So 6 feet 2 inches tall. That's how tall he was according to Google.
Yeah, you see that? He was so and BDA he had weight. He wasn't a skinny motherfucker too.
Well, Don Francisco says that he lost a little weight in the jungle during the whole insurrection, but I mean, yes, 6 feet 2 inches. Yeah. Here he is alongside
6 feet, and he, you know, and naturally he could carry some weight, and on top of that, you know, he was a bit militant. That means that he could throw down.
Well, I'd say.
Here he is alongside Canadian royalty Trudeau. I forget his first name for some reason. But yeah, you're right. He's wearing military fatigues or overalls, whatever you call them. So maybe that adds a little bit of weight, but he looks bigger than fucking Trudeau, that's for sure.
He looks like he's saying, "What's up? What's up? What you want to do?"
He looks like he's about to...
Trudeau's saying, "Oh God, I envy you so bad.
Oh God, don't hit me."
Well, didn't he bang his wife?
I want to rule like you do.
Take my wife.
I mean, I gotta tell you,
I want to have secret police go to BDA's house and fucking jail him for 5 years without charges. That's beautiful.
I mean, I'm not gonna let people badmouth Trudeau on this podcast. I'll tell you that much. All right, well, listen.
Don't you badmouth that Trudeau?
That's right. We gotta move. We gotta go, fellas. We've been on for about 3 hours. I certainly have to run. But thank you, fellas, for joining us. Really appreciate it. I'm talking about Jimmy, Gonzalo. Recognize. Shout out to you, fellas. Thank you for being on. What was I gonna say? Yeah, well, shout out to everybody that donated the super chat as well. Everybody that called in and gave us their predictions. We'll be taking more.
And everyone who hit the like button. Thank you.
Oh yeah, hey, hit the like button. Hit the like. Really helps us out. Like I said, everybody that donated, I'm talking about I Am Your Leader, High and Low Sports Zentrum, Bushido Kai, Jonathan Merson, a.k.a. Action Jackson, CT, shout out to CT. I forgot to read his super chat. He says the judges saw Haney's 50 body shots early, 116, 112. My body shots. Usually the people don't care about them. All of a sudden, they're huge body punching fans. Shout out to Aaron Kuko and Gonzalo too for their contributions to the super chat. Shout out to those fellas, and we'll catch you in the next one. Oh fuck, you know what? Well, next time we'll do a show on Friday. Might not even necessarily be a Friday show, but we're going to talk about Munguia Davidachenko. Forgot that fight was taking place too on Saturday. So shout out to you fellas. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Mark T, Jonathan Morrison, Rod Rook Davis in the house. Shout out to Rod Rook, Sam Rando, Wise Guy, Fluffy Toasters 89, The Gucci Berserk, Gene Bartgis, 8 Count, J Colt, the aforementioned Jonathan Morrison, Campos Vasquez, Mark T, and many other people. Fellas, thank you for joining us. Hawkeye or Hawker. All right, well, listen, whatever. Thank you guys for joining us. Catch you in the next one, fellas. Take it easy.
I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in everyone of you.